South man, charges on the beat.
To the spoon to get your information. To the spoon to be part of our discussion. Spoon, spoon, spoon television. Spoon, spoon, spoon radio station.
Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Monrovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. Just to spoon, you will know. If the children crying for starvation, just to spoon. You want to get a news update, my brother, to spoon. You want to know what is happening, Moravia, to spoon. Politicians want to make their decision, just to spoon. You want to know what happening in the ministry, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. You from Fonjema, Maryland, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. If you eat cake, congratulate my brother, to spoon. You got a spoon TV, you got a spoon radio, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. You want to get a news update, to spoon. What? Yeah, Rastafari. Kilibamba. What I want? Yes, what you got today?
Spoon TV.
Yes, what you got today?
Spoon TV. Spoon
Skidibidibidabado.
Spoon TV. Spoon Entertainment.
Kua. Bese kua kutuleo. Kua kutuleo.
To the spoon to get
Yes,
your
what you
information.
Kua.
To the spoon.
And coming with the spoon, and your boy, Friday the South man, charges on the beat.
To the spoon to get your information. To the spoon to be part of our discussion. Spoon television. Spoon radio station.
Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Monrovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. Just to spoon, you will know. If the children crying for starvation, just to spoon. You want to get a news update, my brother, to spoon. You want to know what is happening, Moravia, to spoon. Politicians want to make their decision, just to spoon. You want to know what happening in the ministry, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. You from Fonjema, Maryland, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. If you eat cake, congratulate my brother, to spoon. You got a spoon TV, you got a spoon radio, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. You want to get a news update, to spoon. What? Yeah, Rastafari. Kilibamba. Klibamba, klibamba, klibamba. What I want? Yes, what you about today?
School TV. School.
Yes, what you about today?
School. School TV. School.
Bala bala bala. Skiddy biddy dabado.
School TV. School entertainment.
Kua. Bese kua today. Kua today.
To the school.
Yes, what you
Information.
And your boy, Friday the South Man. Charges on the beat.
To the school to get your information. To the school to be part of my discussion. School television. School radio station.
Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Morovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. Just to spoon you and know. The children crying for starvation, just to spoon. You want to get a news update, my brother, to spoon. You want to know what is happening, Moravia, to spoon. Politicians want to make their decision, just to spoon. You want to know what's happening in the ministry, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. To spoon.
Did the South Man. Charging from the CEO, stand coming with the spoon. And your boy, Friday the South Man. Charges on the beat.
To the school to get your information. To the school to be part of my discussion. School television. School radio station.
Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Morovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. Just to spoon you and know.
Okay, folks, what a pleasant way to welcome you to another edition of the program Spoon Talk.
Want to get a news update, my brother, to spoon.
This has become the reservoir of information
Happening Moravia,
for the people of Liberia and beyond. The Spoon Talk is here
decision just to spoon.
every weekday,
You want to know what's happening in the ministry.
making sure that you are informed.
Yeah,
Bring the newsmakers, placing them on the hot seat,
yeah.
and of course, breaking the news, letting you know all of what's happening in Liberia. So we'd like to say welcome to another edition of it. The program is here tonight live on Spoon 107.5 FM. It's also live on Fabric 101.1 FM,
My brother,
Super 95.5. We also coming to you live on Super TV Channel 10. Spoon Talk is live tonight. Invite Facebook, that's Spoon TV Live. On YouTube, Spoon Talk Live, and also on Fabric TV Live. I want to say welcome to all of you across the world. I'm Nelson Paulette, and I have the CEO has joined us, and James is also here. So let me just cross over to them to say good evening and welcome. Good evening, CEO.
Hey, Nelson Collette, what's up?
Yes, sir. I'm okay. Trying.
Yeah. Are we good?
Yeah, we're good. We're
My
good
man,
from my end.
your internet is the internet putting you in situations.
He can't handle it.
Yeah. look, just look at James' internet. James is so. James, take the hoodie on, my man. There we go.
Your internet just going on there.
Yeah, your internet is bad.
Oh wow.
No, it's good. It's good now. No, it's very good now. I mean, we know you're in Liberia, so we'll consider you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're in Liberia. The land of the free people. Right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
What are the people laughing for, James?
Laughing the way laughing.
The man in the country where people are free but they're hungry.
That's the land of the free.
They're free hungry. But James, though, I know tonight we will be bringing in Rodney CA. But how can you? And folks gonna get mad at me again. James, you know very well, right? You are hungry. You got no money. It's been rough, and you still saying, "Well, I'm okay. I'm going to ask for the same thing that make me hungry." No food in the house. You say, "I will ask for the same thing." Sure, not going to school though. You're begging around, but you're just happy that you are where you are. I can't understand, man. James.
That's
Let's ask Liberian people that those are just joining us. Liberia is what? The land of the free or the land of the hungry? The land of the free or the land of the corrupt? The land of the free or the land of increased poverty? Can we say the land of the free or the land where there would be no proper health care? What is Liberia? Land where there is no electricity. Where is how will you term Liberia? They say liberty, freedom. Freedom and what? Freedom and suffering? James, don't start, man. Don't start. We got to ask folks, people that listen to us, joining us. We got to be, hey, man. Oh, yeah, I saw Haruna Asma Keita. He met me at the mall today. Let me recognize him. My wife said, "Who's that?" I said, "Well, one of the Spoon follower." Yes, that's him. I met him at the mall today. It was nice seeing him. He shook my hand. He said, "Yeah, it's good to see you, CEO." I said, "Thank you." So recognize our Haruna Asma Keita. We're going to recognize the family. I believe it was his wife because I saw him with somebody. Forgive me if that's not your wife, but I think that's his wife. Yeah, let me put a man out there. I think, listen, let me put a man name up again. I think everybody's seeing, I believe that he was with his wife or somebody related to him. And the person that on the picture, the only person I seen with. Yeah, the man got to say something. Yeah, but the man came to me. The person I saw him walking in the mall, North Storm, that's not the person I saw him with. So
maybe that his sister.
That's not his sister. The man holding the person in a situation. But I don't think that the person. My man, I'll pick on you. For you know what free, the man so just leave her alone. You know, can't tap on our live feed. Man, you gotta tell the people who the woman, the person I saw you with, you had your hand around her. I don't know whether that's the same person you on the picture with. So waiting for you to answer that your business. I mean, I ain't seen girl, man. I can see clear. That's not a girl over there that braided her hair. The person I see, the person has soft, long hair. Soft hair.
But I hair looking long.
No, soft. That it wasn't braided. The person hair, the girl was almost like a Spanish woman. The guy I saw, the guy working with. The person black.
That's it. That's the real situation.
But I just want to more. The person the man standing with, that's not the same person, my man. I just want to more, my man. I saw the guy. Then the guy wanted me to recognize him. My man, you follow inside to do. Next time you see CEO, you will take different role. But the other role,
you make people when they see you, they will be hiding yourself.
But I took the man picture. The man didn't take a picture. I will soon put a get picture up. So the man for like, but let's recognize our brother. It's good to see him. He recognized a young man. We say good to see you, and it's a good thing that we met him at the mall. A good friend of Spoon. He always watch our show. So we want to say thank you. Thank you very much. And that's how we do on the Spoon Talk. I see that Rotten Seer from Front Page Newspaper is coming in. He's our guest tonight. We're going to discuss issue concerning Liberia, the biometric. Something is happening with National Election Commission and PPCC. They can't come along, James.
Oh yeah,
up and down.
it's a
Something
very
is
serious
happening.
issue.
It's Jim. Let me say this before I bring in Rodney. Let me say this real quick, right? I think somebody have an interest in that e-com company from China. Somebody in the government has interest because there has been no way PPCC say we reject them. They were enter Brand Lasana saying no, we will keep them. We have less than or yet. You know what? Let me wait. Maybe the best person to speak on this thing that was brother right now. So I will be quiet before again this beautiful Tuesday evening on my end. I put myself in situation. But something about that company that somebody stay pushing for. Because that's a lot of money.
And I
That's
think
a lot of money, James.
they have to do the right thing.
That's a lot of money. And if this thing continue, guess what happened? The election will be a disaster. Let's recognize our brother Kefiko. I have not spoken to him since last night we got off the show. He was mad at me, but it is what it is. He can get mad, and when he hit his government, he said, my government, my people. Then I hit him, slash. Then he get mad. So let's recognize Kefiko. Kefiko,
Yes,
my
sir.
brother, how you doing?
Not about last night I was just a little.
We didn't call me all day, Kefiko.
Yeah, there's some
Oh, I
stuff.
forgot. Today Tuesday, you go to work.
No. I was doing some, and I was working from home, but I was doing a lot of stuff that I need to catch up.
You are putting folks under the sycamore tree because I saw some people under the sycamore tree. There wasn't many though. Few of them. It was on Mr. Sam Jackson page. He was going live under the sycamore tree. It's amended. Everybody got to come under the sycamore tree. But the sycamore tree is like they are drying very fast. They need some water and some fertilizer. The tree is not. People coming under the tree just don't believe in the tree anymore. And we'll discuss that tonight, Kev. You still believe the tree, Kev?
When it comes to us, we believe in the vision of this president and our party. We not like other people who don't believe in the vision of the political leader. We believe in the vision of president. So there's nothing like that before.
Yeah, but that tree losing popularity. A lot of folks running away from that tree. That tree have given a lot of people,
Folks away. We don't know any of folks who running away.
a lot of folks running away, man. The masses are running. But let's bring in our brother running see. I'm gonna send a couple of our guys under the tree to take picture and video that we can discuss this new thing that after work 4:00 everybody should come under the tree. Whether you get water to drink, come under the tree. Whether you take pay, come under the tree. Whether you get food to eat, come under the tree. People under the tree begging for bread. But let's bring it running. I know tonight will not be easy between Kev and myself. Then after the show, then we will talk. My brother Kev now. Let's bring in our brother, man from the Front Page Newspaper. I don't know what about the newspaper I like. It's something about the newspaper, James, that I like. Like, if you look on my phone, right? That's the only paper that send me, your stories. So I got something like all the story will just be running. Like if you're running something like Google, you go on Google, you check. Listen, I don't know. Maybe I'm just from pleasure in reading this newspaper.
And when you are outside Liberia, front page is outstanding though.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Front
when you
page
are
is.
outside Liberia is the only active page that you really get access to like that.
Yeah, so I would just say this to all Liberians, man. Make sure you get the front page newspaper, say what they want to say. You got more than 10 stories, you got interesting issues on the papers every day. Those guys work crazy. I spoke to Leonard yesterday, I think that's his name, Leonard Doodle. And man, he said, CEO, I'm working hard, running is not here. He said, I'm staying here, it's late. I said, hey, my man, but you're doing extremely well. He said, CEO, I got to do it. A lot of stories, you know. So listen, young men are doing what they have to do to give you Liberians the information. That's a plus. We want to welcome you, our brother, Ronan. We want to welcome him to the Spoon Talk again.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Yeah, it's very good to see you. As always, we want to say you're doing extremely well with your newspaper. Folks in this business, they may like us, they may hate us, but the story remains the story, and they will appreciate us. History, history will appreciate us. And I always tell folks, we are not in the days of the Tauber, the Totman, the though, you know, we are in the new era, digital era. So the news is moving like this, moving like this. That's what Victor Hogstrom said, and he will be our guest panelist tomorrow. Victor Hogstrom from PBS. He will be our guest panelist. He will be on the show that we will all sit and discuss national issue. Sentumani George, thank you for joining us. Uh, thank you for joining us, Georgie. What's up? Oh man, you can talk. You afraid of running here?
I'm cool, man. What's up, Rodney? How's everything?
Good.
Kev, our brother Ronnie is in the house.
Hey, Rodney, how are you, my brother?
What's up, Kev? Good to be here. Thank you.
So Ronnie, talk to us. Thank you for accepting our invite. The main issue we brought you on tonight, just we shouldn't waste any more time, is to discuss this NEC, PPCC, and then we'll discuss all the other stories out there, especially on your newspaper, the front page. NEC, National Election Commission, PPCC, they are going in the opposite direction when it comes to ICANN, and I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Talking about the biometrics machine. Where are we as Liberian? Do you think the people have come to the understanding that what NDC, David Eto Brown Lasana, and the commissioners are trying to do, will it help the election or will it hurt the election?
Well, Stan, it's good to be back on the show. I think there's a big divide right now between National Elections Commission and the PPCC. But beyond that, there's a lot of concern that the NEC chair lady may have been compromised on this issue. The fact that the PPCC has spoken, the Senate committee has put out a statement. I know you saw a statement out yesterday. The statement I've seen it. There's a statement that was on the Senate committee. I'll send it to you just now on the same issue, concerned that NEC is going a different route, and even on the NEC committee, there's differences. Most of the commissioners are saying that they're not in favor of what the chairlady is doing. So it's an issue that is very serious, and if it's not handled carefully, we might see some serious chaos and confusion in the 2023 elections.
So what are some of those issues, brother say? What are some of those issues that we have to, let's take the time now and speak to Liberians. What are some of those major issues that PPCC is frowning upon?
Well, as you know, in the past few years, we've never had a biometric system. This is new. That's the first issue, is that Liberians are not familiar with this biometric system. And so people are really concerned that there's not enough time for NEC to introduce this new system ahead of next year's election. And so they're hoping that, first of all, the companies that are listed will be qualified to do the work. There's been so many disagreements along the way. We've seen PPCC involved in this process. I think on September 26th this year, PPCC prevailed, and NEC was forced to redo the bidding for this process. There were a few companies, Professional Services, HID, Electoral Services, the Laxton Group, and ICAM, the Chinese company, and a company called Waymark Infotech. They all bid for this thing. To the surprise of many, NEC gave the bidding to ICAM, the Chinese company. And this came as a surprise to a lot of people because the Chinese company were not very qualified for this work. So during the second bidding demonstration, when NEC called this company in based on what PPCC had demanded, the Chinese company, ICAM, performed very poorly in front of the NEC commissioners, in front of the international community that were there present from various embassies around the country. They performed very poorly. So it was shocking that after this second bidding, NEC decided once more to award this contract to ICAM once more. So the fact that the chairlady consistently putting this company ahead of other companies that is not even qualified to do this work, especially in a country where poverty is very high, the education issue is a major problem for the country. Most people cannot even read and write. And you're going to have this new process given to a Chinese company that's not qualified, that could not demonstrate its capacity during the bidding demonstration, to the dismay of many, including the international community. I understand today there was a serious meeting held in the executive mansion on this issue. I know for a fact that the international community are concerned about it. They concerned because Liberia is still fragile. There's concern that there may be violence in next year's election if this issue is not dealt with properly. And people are very concerned that NEC chairlady David Brown Lasana is turning a blind eye to all of these concerns. She is not concerned about what the outcome may be. She's not concerned about the optics of what's happening, the speculations that she has been compromised on this issue, and she's going ahead and prevailing with this issue. And I understand that the Chinese company have been pushed to go to the Supreme Court to fight for this bidding. The bidding price is worth $12 million, I believe. And so these four companies, I believe there were two companies that were with high marks. They were not even on NEC's radar. I think they came second and third. So it's an issue that really has the potential to disrupt next year's election if we don't do it properly.
Let me ask you a question. On your paper, one of your story that came out the 27th of September, and it was written by Leonard Dudo. You asked a question: what's NEC interest? Now, why do you think David Brown Lasana is pushing this?
Well, that's the I wouldn't say million, I would say $1 billion question for Liberia because it's mind-boggling. It's very difficult to understand how and why she's doing this. Even her own commissioners are not happy with what she's doing. Right after the second bidding, there were people on her own committee discussing this to the press, saying that they were not part of what she was doing. That she needs to look at this thing more closely. And I'm not sure whether this lady understands the significance of what's happening, the history of Liberia. In 1927, there was an election held where Charles D.B. King won his third term. And that's in Guinness Book of World Records as the most fraudulent election in Liberia's history. In 1985, we saw the Samuel Doe election when he finally got rid of his military fatigue to become a civilian president. That election was also compromised. And we looking at 2011, when CDC complained that they were cheated, and you saw what happened on November 7th. And so people got killed. There were riots in the streets. I was in traffic that day. There were people blocked the streets. There were burning tires and stuff like that. So all of these things are things that people got to be very careful. And I'm not sure that Madam Brown Lasana understand the history of Liberia. The 85 elections led or began the process to remove Samuel Doe from power. That was a significant piece of history for Liberia to remember. And to see that all of this history is in the backdrop, and to see that this next lady, chair lady, is doing everything possible to cause problems. Because if this Chinese company had opportunity to demonstrate what it could do with this biometrics, and in front of all the international stakeholders, they failed flat on their face, and you insist that they must get this contract, it tells you that something sinister is going on. Either she's being compromised or she's playing a very dangerous game.
Are you reaching to that level? And you believe that probably she's compromised?
It is leading to that because the way she's going about it, it speaks volume and suggests that she may have been compromised on this. Because if the donor community, the people who fund elections, saying that they have concern that this didn't go right.
Which one is who's saying that they got concerned? Which country? Which one of the donors partners?
The demonstration I had a couple of weeks ago, all the international stakeholders were there because they're concerned about this issue. They were there, and they saw what happened. It was not a secret. ECAM failed.
This is why we receive this, and I'll read this from the Kev and Sentumani issue coming. Guys, you on the radio line, folks, you follow on. This is very important because this is about 2023 election. This is very important. The Public Procurement Concession Commission, PPCC, has for the second time rejected the National Election Commission request for approval to award ICAM PAM Insurance the contract to supply biometric voter registration equipment, software, and materials for 2023 presidential and legislative election. But you are saying in your paper, in your reporting, PPCC raised eyebrows at the NEC acceptance of the late submission of the card by ICA. Now, they did it within the time frame given to them right now. They didn't perform well. They didn't perform well. But yet and still, for the sake of our audience, David Eto Brown Lasana is pushing that this company should be the company. You are now saying probably she got some personal interest. Probably something just doesn't smell right. Can you go further? Can you be very, very clear on this? Because now it's concerning. If the PPCC can reject and give their own objection to this, it's something David Eto Brown know that they don't know, that we don't know. Can you talk to us, please?
Yeah, I mean, it's not the first time that this lady has been in problems. Remember, I think it was early this year when her brother was in some kind of mix-up about bidding contracts and stuff. They
Yeah,
report
with
that
a
the same,
family member,
yeah,
Yeah.
there's even report that her brother is also involved with this in some way with this Chinese company. So I don't understand
No,
for
no, that
real.
folks hear you clear, right? Her brother is, you saying there's a report out there that her brother involved with ACAM again?
Because the Chinese company has connection to a Nigerian company that may have ties to her brother.
Wow.
So we don't know whether all this is because of that. We're still investigating, but the issue here is that internally within NEC, there are differences. People are not happy with the way she handled the whole thing. People feel that she's been compromised on within NEC, and she's standing her ground. She's saying that she's not going to back down. And the only other alternative the only other conclusion people come to is that maybe there's some interest she has within this Chinese company. And I think she owes it to Liberia to come clean on this thing. She needs to call a press conference and explain her connection to this company, why she insisting on giving this company, even against PPCC concerns, even against her own commissioner's concern, even against the Senate committee that looked into this issue concerns. She's insisting on giving this thing to these people, even amid all of the international people who were present for that bidding process, who expressed concern that this Chinese company, they fell on their face during the presentation. Because the first bidding process, they were concerned that the bidders were not allowed to demonstrate what they could do with this biometrics. And mind you, you're talking about election in a country where 80 or 90% of the population are not educated. Okay, because of the Civil War, most of those kids who were doing the war, they didn't go to school. So the whole bunch of young people who are uneducated are being asked to go and perform or to go and vote biometric when they don't even understand what is the biometrics all about. Are there any plan by NEC to do a lot of public awareness about what this thing is? You're going to use a first-time voting method in a country where people can hardly read and write and expect to have a free and fair elections in Liberia. And the sad part about this whole thing, Stan, is that the so-called opposition have been mute on this whole thing. The Alice Cummings, the Chawan Gonglo, the who else is there? The Joe Boakai, they all have been silent. And mark my word, if this election that's coming up next year goes the other way and President Weah wins second term, these people will be all over the street crying foul. How they were cheated. How this happened. Look at the biometrics. Look at the census issue. They're all saying nothing. But they expect Liberians to vote for them. And if they don't win, they will use the same Liberian on the street to say they're protesting and cause chaos in Liberia. That's the sad reality we face in Liberia today. And if this issue is not addressed, you don't expect the government to get involved. President Weah's an incumbent. He ain't got nothing to do with it. He's an incumbent. If the process is flawed and it benefits him, he's happy. He's not gonna go protest in the streets. Oh, change biometric. If you're in the opposition, can't get your acts together, don't blame the George Weah government. It's your fault. So the fact that they are standing aside and watching this issue unfold, the media have been covering this issue for I don't know how many weeks now. They're all quiet. They can't say anything about it. But tomorrow, when George Weah wins second time, they will say, "Oh, they cheated them." And I hope all the media that's watching, or including Spoon TV, can look them in the face and tell them, "We don't believe you were cheated. There was free and fair election." Because if you sat down during the whole process leading the election and did nothing and want to cry wolf at the last minute, then you don't belong in politics. So this is an issue that's very important, that's very crucial to Liberia's history, that Liberia upcoming election. If we don't get it together, if we don't get it right, we have a serious problem on our hands.
Roger, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let me bring in the panelists to ask their question. We got so many questions. You've been running with this story a lot, but this is concerning. I spoke to 2 ministers and 2 senators, 1 representative. And they're asking the same question: why? Why David Eto Brown is pushing ECAM, the Chinese company? So, Kev Hassan, Sintomani George, welcome to the show. Chairman Ben Senvi. Let's have a beautiful program. Dr. Richardson is off today because she's out on a trip, but we can do this. Mariah probably going to join us alongside with Dr. Peabody. Kev, your question for Rodney.
Rodney, how are you again? You know, with all this, story you coming out with, the biometrics, and you run with a lot of stories on your print media. Why are the lawmakers not asking those questions like you running with? Why is she not there, answering some of these questions? Why?
I think the lawmakers have done some investigation. There was a report that came out, I think, 2 days ago. We didn't publish it the day before because we're not sure it was authentic. But our reporters interviewed a couple of senators who confirmed that the report did come from them. And so they are doing their part to make sure that NEC is made to explain this issue. I'm sending you now, Stan, the report. I know you've seen it. I'm sending it to you right now. We can read excerpts on their page. I'm just posting it for people to read it. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, you should have it, Stan. You should have it. So that report I just sent you was confirmed by senators that it is authentic. And in that report, there were recommendations made that NEC, they were not happy with the way NEC handled this whole thing. And they have concerns about the upcoming elections. And so Ms. Brown Lasana is getting hit from all over the place. Not just the senators, but the civil society are on her back. The media be on her back. The other competitors in this bidding process who feel that they're better than the ones she selected are on her back. So I think there needs to be more within the legislature. I think the lower house also need to get involved in this issue because all of their elections coming up, they will benefit from it too. So it is important that everybody on the same page on this issue and make sure that we have a conclusion to this thing before election next year. We have 11 months down to election, right? I believe. So what is it that the lawmakers are doing to make sure this thing is on the front burner? What are the opposition people doing about it? They're not saying much about anything that's happening. So I think that it is crucial that the legislature get involved in it more. The statement they put out is a strong statement, but also I think they need to do more and just maybe call NEC cheerleaders to the table and ask us some questions, some tough questions. What is the interest in this whole thing?
How is this biometric important in this coming election? Why is that so important in this coming election?
Well, the last few elections were done manually, and there have been concerns that people were double voting and all that. So this biometric is supposed to solve that problem. But even people in the government will tell you that they're not even sure they have enough money to sensitize the public about this biometric voting. Do we have enough time between now and October next year to educate the public about what this thing is? Especially we have 1 month of campaigning, I think. Is it something that was really thought through thoroughly to make sure that every Liberian understand what this biometric is? I personally would have thought that the last bidding demonstration would have been done on live TV or live radio. So I don't know why they decided to just do it in the way they did it, although there were international donors and watchers at the last demonstration. But I think that should have been a live thing for the whole country to see what's going on. It is something that people have to understand. You bring it, and the first time introducing a new voting process in a country where most of the people are uneducated. The red flags for violence, the red flag for chaos, the red flag for confusion is all over the place. I'm not sure David Eder Brown understands the weight of what she's overseeing. This is a very crucial election in Liberia coming up. And any small signs of cheating or signs that something not right, and using a first-time voting process, biometrics, in a country where people don't understand nothing most of the time, and you expect them to buy into it in 11 months, when question marks are all over the place, I hope she understands the weight that's on her over her head and her shoulders, because this is a very serious issue.
So let me say this, and I'll bring in some Timon and Josh and our brother Ben Sanley. We are receiving information, and I'll share with you guys. Please go through it. Ronnie, I'll share with you as well.
Yep.
The 21st of October 2022. Today is the 25th, 3 days ago. Public Procurement and Concession Commission. They replied, David Eder Brown Lasana. James, can we put this up for the sake of our audience? This is very, very concerning. And thank God we are having this conversation. I'm sorry, folks, if for any reason it's not too clear, we will share this on our page. Our brother Ronnie C. I know a lot of questions. The PPCC, that entity, and Liberia need to hear this. They came up with the findings, reason why the thing. After all the observation, they said findings, and I will go to the second page, James, the second page. Number one, findings that the inability for NEC recommended bidder, Kent Palm Insurance, to print the PVC card on spot as required by NEC and within time show uncertainty on the usage of its equipment and raises doubt. Ronnie, I'm not going to go through all, and Liberians hear this because this is scary. This is 100% one of the worst. And as we go through this conversation, Ronnie said this: they are saying the inability that they cannot print a card immediately within the time frame, but you have to wait for hours or days. It is concerning. I will read this again. Those in the radio land that should listen, then you can come in. The inability for the National Election Commission recommended bidder Ekin Palm Insurance to print the PVC card on the spot as required by NEC and within time show uncertainty on the usage of its equipment and raise doubt. Can you talk to us? How terrible is this findings?
The major cause of corruption in any country begins and ends with the PPCC. We have to give the PPCC some credit here because they have stood their ground. They are saying that they were there when the demonstration took place. They are saying that this is what we saw. This company you gave it to can't even demonstrate properly. The equipment is malfunctioning. The time they're supposed to do this thing, it can't happen. And mind you now, the last few elections in Liberia, what has been a major sign of protest? The courts. Everybody went to the court to go get redress. If you have a situation where this Chinese company could not deliver in front of watchers, in front of PPCC, in front of international community, in front of observers, they failed. And you're going to give this process to them. And what if It arguably the most important election in Liberia's history. You're going to give it to them and open a floodgate of lawsuits, a floodgate of complaints, a floodgate of confusion, a floodgate of chaos, and potentially, as we saw in the aftermath of 1985 elections, when Samuel Doe won, the beginning of a major civil crisis in this country. This is what, when I talk, people think I'm just being too blunt, but this is how real this thing is. If David Brown don't understand what's over her head, and she's playing games with Liberian people's lives and the future, she better wake up. Because everything that's happening now, everything that's leading to this thing that's happening, the real government can say, you know what, she's the next chair, she's what she wants, let her do what she wants to do. They can say that. Nobody can hold them responsible. And they're not really concerned because they're the incumbent. If it benefits them, who suffers most? UP, CPP, or ANC, whatever they call themselves these days, they will be the ones crying over the place, running to East End, running to Ben, running to Kef, Peter up on the talk show. They think it's cheating. You're talking about your show. That would be them running around like chicken on neck. And this is the most dangerous thing that happens in Africa. When people cannot stand up and be counted when it matters most. When so-called opposition people crying foul after the fact. And PPCs have done very well. They've told you these are the facts. They lay out for you what went wrong in that demonstration. They said this company failed. But the main people should be crying. They say nothing, well, they say, well, everything all right. So if everything is all right now, don't cry tomorrow when they flunk you. That's the bottom line. And I think David Brown is playing on the fact that Liberians are maybe tired with the war, they won't go back to war. She said, oh, we can get over this thing. Whatever problem she has, she owes it to Liberia. Because this is out there, Stan. She must answer the question. What is the extent of her brother's relationship with this Chinese company? This is a election cause war in countries. If you don't know that by now, what is the extent of her brother's role in this Chinese company? She needs to make that clear to Liberian people. It has to be clear. She cannot get control this thing on people's face and say, oh yeah, biometric process, we agree with it. That was yesterday. In 1985, there was a internet, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Though would not have gotten away with it. But nowadays, everything is out there. That's how I'm surprised that they didn't have that demonstration broadcast on live radio and television. I'm surprised that wasn't done. You're talking about a process that is new to everybody in Liberia. I've never voted with biometric before. Stan, have you? Ben, have you ever voted with biometric? Nobody has done it before. Nobody has done it. It's the first time you're going to throw that thing out there in this kind of crucial election in Liberia.
So I know I want to bring in Sintomade and Chairman Ben, but I will stick with number one in the findings, and I think the rest of the guys will continue with the rest of the findings. The second sentence in findings number one, our brother Rodney said, she said that on an effective workability as required for the issuance of printed PVC card to a registrant during the voter registration period. Can you please help us understand? If you want to cheat in an election, when does it begin? Because they are telling you during the voter registration period, this thing is not working. It's not functioning properly. And that's PPCC concern. I can be in Lexington, Sano County, where internet probably it's a problem where you got to go over your cell phone over and over to make calls and get things done. This thing is not working. It's not like in America, 7 p.m. election day, the results are all in. And they're just waiting for mail-in ballots. But this is about Liberia, no internet, no electricity. Voter registration. Is that when it begins? The cheating, the irregularities?
What is the most dominant image you see on election night in any country, especially Liberia? The last few elections, when they counted the ballots, people using what? Candle, flashlights, lantern to count ballot votes.
Cell phone lights, yep.
Then you're talking about biometric. You know what biometric means? Biometric. Okay? This is what this woman is throwing onto Liberian people. Something that's totally new. Totally new. You have 11 months to sell it. 11 months to sell it. I haven't heard one jingle on the radio about this biometric. As you're picking on the ground, whether you ever heard any jingle on the radio promoting this biometric, what it is, what it means. NEC has not spent a penny on sensitizing Liberian people. They're not spending a penny on radio jingles to tell people what this thing is. The first example should have been the day they did that demonstration. They should have invited all at least media people to announce this thing on the radio live. Maybe Spoon should have been there. We should have been there with a live video thing to see how this thing going on. But the first time he did it secretly. The other person, no, not fair, because we're not allowed to demonstrate how this thing works. So people say, okay, let's do it again. Let everybody demonstrate. Opportunity came and they flew by the window. Behind closed doors, although there were observers there, there were international people there, they saw what happened. But I think NEC should have had at least 2 or 3 television cameras there doing this thing live, let everybody see it. Because I don't think Liberia is ready for what will happen in October after election, after 14 days. If this thing goes out the door. I don't think we even understand what will happen. Liberia have the mentality. Even the current president, 2005 election, he had the famous picture of him holding the ballot in his hand. The cheat meal. It's there. It's not a secret. 2011, the same thing happened. They didn't take part in the second round because they felt they were cheated. Then you're talking about people saying, oh, we are government doing well, blah, blah, blah. Then you're going to announce him president with this kind of process. And you think the opposition was, in fact, I'm not talking for them because nobody knows what they would do. Because they're so weak, nobody can even talk for any of them. But I'm just telling you how important this process is. And the people who say the opposition, they're not raising concerns, they're not saying anything about it, they're all quiet.
Let me bring in St. Thomas George and Chairman Sandy. Georgie?
It's good again, Rodney, to be with you. The National Elections Commission, in August of this year, when they did the first bidding with this company in question, it was rejected. According to the Procurement Concessions Commission at the time, they said that the company failed to meet the required criteria as per PBCC regulations. And also the company lacked the ability to pre-finance the project. So they rejected them. And then again, she sent them about a few days ago again, were rejected when they did a demonstration. And the question is, we have about 50 weeks to election, less than 50 weeks to election, 349 days. And to see the fact that we're still talking about biometrics, and December 15th is going to start registration of voters. So now we have reached the point where even members of the NDC, some of the commissioners there, it seems as though they are not in line with her. They have now perhaps they're a little bit afraid to come up publicly, but they are giving information on that. They don't know the reason why this lady keep on pushing this company. What's the interest? But again, the national legislature, they also have a part to play. They have oversight over NEC. So by right, by now we are expecting to have called this lady, tell us, look, if this is not working, I mean, let go of this company or so. If she's being arrogant, she's been stubborn about it. I mean, they can ask that she be replaced and come to the political parties too. I think by now they should be meeting regularly as political parties, meeting regularly with NEC or the international partners, because we have the European Union, UNDP, AFES, and USAID. They are all part of this partnership in the electoral process. To meet with them now and tell them to look, this was where we are right now, is a problem, and get rid of this issue. Is she refusing? They can all come and say, look, we can't work on this woman as head of the Elections Commission. So the question is, I mean, what's her problem? What's really she's continuing to push this group? And the questions are being asked and nobody answering the question. Okay. Somebody said today, told me today, said Tomlin, also you too, you know whether she's delaying too. It's intentional, the delay, and then we end up reverting to the old system of instead of the biometrics. Because the biometrics you have to educate the Liberian voters about it. But if the people are not educated about it, I mean, how are we going to do it? So the question is, the lawmakers, the political parties, they all need to be involved. But the silence means consent. I mean, they're accepting, they're allowing to happen. So we really don't know where we are going with this, but it's serious, and it will be a problem because it will start registration on December 15, and we're still at this point. It's a problem. So I don't know. I expect that. I don't know. My question is, when will they call Angela Brown or before the committees? You know, when will they call her to come and address this issue? Because that's where we are right now. It's so disturbing.
I mean, it's not about only when they will call her, but whatever they do with her, it has to be nationally televised. It has to have the local media covering it live with cameras, let people see, let her explain why she behind this company. What is her interest? I mean, what is the role of her brother in this whole thing? She needs to explain to Liberian people how deep is her brother with this Chinese company. And I'm gonna put it out there. The way it's going, maybe she's compromised. It's a thing that's normal. When everybody turns against one thing that you say is it should go, maybe you compromise, and that's why you're doing what you're doing. So she needs to come clean. But I don't really expect the House or the Senate to really summon her anytime soon because December is right around the corner. October is finishing in a couple of days. November going to be here, and the time is running out. I know that after October next year, whatever the result is, nobody should call my phone. I'm telling you, don't start to tell you. Nobody should call my phone to tell they cheated you. I'm not gonna listen to you. I mean, you know, I'm not gonna open my phone to anybody because if you can't talk now, then what are you gonna talk? And mind you, after election, most times, even during Samuel Doe time, 1985, Timothy, remember, they say, "Oh yeah, Doe cheated." For peace sake, people say, "Well, there was small thing here and there, but it wasn't gonna change the outcome of the election." Doe won.
Yes.
Okay, so you're saying that we say, "Oh, we made no, what? Maybe no swear." Don't call my phone.
Even 2005.
Do not call my phone.
2005.
Do not call my phone. Do not call my phone after October election. I will not pick up. That's the bottom line.
Your second question, Tumani.
Well, I mean, I will just pass because we already, Ronnie have touched on all these issues we're talking about.
Thank you.
I will just pass. Let's go to the chairman.
Ronnie, it's good to see you. I just let it away. You said, do not call my phone. Well, let me say this. I'm interested in. I'm hearing myself. Is it me? I'm interested in hearing what are the. Are you guys hearing feedback, or is it me?
You're good. Yeah.
Your
Okay.
feedback, CRT.
You are good, man.
Okay.
I can hear you. Mm-hmm.
I'm interested in knowing what the bench, like what's the what's the word I'm trying to find? The roadblocks and the accountability measures, the accountability tools. Who holds NEC accountable? Who holds the chair of NEC accountable? I don't want to believe she has the capacity to run. I don't want to believe she has the capacity to run a one-woman show. It is a commission, and this is an educative question for folks out there who in a situation like this, who holds her accountable? I hear what you're saying, Rodney. We need the pressure from the opposition. We need the pressure from all these other sectors in the country. But in the end, who can stop this? PPCC has already done her part to say, listen, we're not signing off on this because we're not happy with what we saw. I don't think PPCC is saying this because they have anything particular against ECAMP. They're just saying what we saw is we're not going to advise the government to pay for it, because our judgment is what the government is going to be depending on. So who gives, where does the buck stops with NEC? Who can say, hey, Madam Chair Lady, this is not what we should be doing, or is the chairperson of the Election Commission, is she law unto herself? That's just the question I have.
And if you're expecting an incumbent government that controls or have influence on the legislature to push this agenda that you're asking, it's not going to happen.
Okay, so the answer is it could come from the executive. That's the answer.
The legislature has to be the one to take the issue.
Okay, so
it seems like when people who voted for so-called people in this last election, they should be the one telling those people to raise the issue, but they're not. They're waiting for the day after election to complain that they cheated them. So,
is there a reason why, Ronnie? Do you think there's a reason? Well, why do you think they're not saying anything though? Is there a reason?
Maybe they feel confident that Joe are doing so badly that he will win. They will not win. They will beat him, and that will be their fatal mistake.
So my last question. Voter registration is supposed to start in December from I guess from the calendar that I saw. I think November or December, if I stand to be corrected. December, right, Tommy? Yeah, December. Do we have enough time? You're absolutely right. I mean, biometrics is not voter. I mean, I got my voter's card here, right? And biometrics is a whole ball game. You got to plan for technical issues. You got to plan for, there's so many things. Since I remember, it was a nightmare when Nigeria first tried to roll out her biometrics. I mean, and that's a more sophisticated country when you come to resources, all of those things. It was a total nightmare when Nigeria first, I think it was 2 elections ago when they tried to initiate the PVC. My question to you is, first of all, do we have enough time to roll this thing out before next year election for the people to be educated? And do we run the risk of just going back to the old system and saying, you know what, we'll do this thing after 2023?
I just told you, NEC lacks, and not just this election coming up, NEC lacks the capacity to sensitize anything for election. It happened last election. It will happen this election. They do not get them money to sensitize the public, but they don't use the money on that.
Okay.
The radio stations, Spoon TV, Front Page, all these newspapers should be used to put this message out there to educate the public, but they're not doing it. So as a result, you're going to have a situation where 11 months to election, people don't know what this biometric is. You're going to throw it on their face and say, oh, the last month, okay, they will start playing jingle on the radio, maybe 2 or 3 elections, start playing jingle. Oh, when you go vote, put your hair on the place and put your hand. Common sense.
There are a lot of invalid votes.
That's going to happen. And a lot of invalid votes leads to perception that we're cheated.
Yeah.
And then election result might not be announced in maybe 6 months after election because it will be in the courts. And what Devetta Bryan is doing, she's laying the groundwork for lawsuits. All of these things that we're raising, that PPC has raised, the PPC's document, if you don't know, is a government document.
Mm-hmm.
It's a government document that can be used in court.
Of course, that's evidence. Yeah.
That's evidence.
Yeah.
So if the Americans have spoken, PPCC, give her credit to be in a government and raise the issue she's raising. Okay, give her some credit. She's raising the issue. Maybe the establishment not happy with what she's saying, but the report is there. She's saying X, Y, and Z. This is not George Weah problem. Don't allow George Weah government. The PPCC works for George Weah. The George Weah government is saying that these issues are there. All of these things, the red flags that they're throwing around, this is not right. But the Cummins, the Boyka, the Conglo, they're all saying nothing. They're all saying nothing. And anybody come on this show, even when I invited, and start giving Kev hat, I was Kev saying we are going for a fair election. I would defend Kev. And I will fight anybody who fight Kev on that night. I would wait for that night to come. And that will happen.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let me go to
Kev will be saying that election are free and fair. Oh, Kev, tell government business. But these are the things that are happening.
Steno, can I ask you 30 seconds because he didn't answer part of it. So that's why I'm asking you, Rodney. Do you believe we should just wait till after 2023 to implement biometric? I mean, and focus on, because I remember the Liberty Party case, right? The key judgment out of the Liberty Party case was sanitize the voters' roll. The voter roll has a problem. You know, that was the landmark judgment out of the LP case. I don't think that has even been done. You know, and like you said, the opposition, we all just said that we just clap our hands. No, it's fine. You know, we win one or two elections. You know, we won the election in Monserrato, Dillon won, Yombly won, this other person won in these counties, you know, so it's fine, right? The voter roll is good. My question is, should we just wait and focus on maybe sanitizing this voter roll since we don't have the time to be able to implement biometrics? Would you advise that?
When's the last time you heard any opposition saying they sanitize voter roll?
Well, you got a point there, my friend. Okay, I guess you answered my question.
Let me bring in Dr. Peabody, and I hope Liberians are listening to this. You know, do you think, Rodney, that we have discussed enough on this PPCC and NEC problem? Do you think the government under President George Manuel Weah he gonna intervene? Or again, can you tell Liberians whether this favor him, favor this government, CDC, so therefore they will remain quiet?
If I was George Weah, I ain't doing quiet. I'm sorry. I ain't doing nothing. I'm sorry.
Why so? Why?
Because everything's normal, everything's fine. The process is going on well. NEC has chosen the Chinese company. They're the best company for the country for the process. So in NEC's eyes, in David Brown's eyes, this is the best company that she want to pick. So let her pick it, and let it just flow.
With this, then, but you're also saying that this would benefit the government more than the opposition, though.
The reason I'm saying that is because whenever there's a concern like a crisis after election, there'll be a few noise here and there, but eventually ECOWAS will say, you know what, for peace sake, accept the results. That was going to happen. If they did it in 1985 during Samuel Doe, they did it 2011 when they made noise, and 2017 they would do it again. Other would say is, oh, you know, there was a few little things, but it would not affect the result of the election. I think that's a, how you call the word? There's like a straitjacket statement that they have in the system. After the election, they put it and say, they just changed the wording of the country and said there were a few things here and there, but the election was free and fair. And who are you going to blame for that?
So Peabody, Harry.
Rodney, always good to see you, and thank you for all your report, for being the light in Monrovia, and all what you do. It's always a delight. Let me ask you, David Etta Brown. You think it's about time that she should be booted out now? Do you think it's about time?
You know, the ironic thing about this whole thing is that when they had her on the table to let go, there were some opposition people who were talking that she shouldn't go, that she should, she should stay because they felt like she was being hit on. But if you were to try it now, I don't think she survives. But again, we're talking about the weakest opposition since 1847. This couldn't be the CC opposition that we all know. By now, they would have been all over the place with this thing. They would have been raising hell wire about what's happening. And so I don't think that, I don't think that any serious opposition would have these things in their hands and just play with it, let it go. But PPC are giving you the green light, say these are the things that we're concerned about on this document, which is a government document, to say these are the concerns. And if the opposition feel that they're okay with it, then then she stays on her job.
But Ronnie, don't you think the government have done a great job, because PPCC represent the government?
Yeah, I mean,
they had a concern,
and I'm sure they called me too this morning. They're happy. They're not happy with what's happening, but they can't do much because it'll be like interfering. The government cannot interfere with election commission. So if election commission is supposed to be independent and they're saying these things, the government cannot do anything more. They just got to watch and see what happens. But mind you now, the opposition that we know in Liberia, I bet they're waiting for the American embassy to come and intervene again this one. That's what's going to happen. I'm sorry.
So if the Americans don't talk, then nobody's going to talk. Everything will rely wholly and solely on the American. But I mean, just from what I'm listening to, I think the government have played their role. Their key agencies have come and say, "Hey, we have problem with this. We don't want to interfere with the election." I think the government have played their role. So this will take the opposition. But what they were at the Brown, so who should act now? The president?
I mean, the president can maybe behind the scenes talk to NEC, but I don't think he will. I don't think he has to. I think it's up to the civil society, the opposition, to raise the issue. It's not up to the president, because he cannot be seen as telling NEC what to do. NEC has done their job. PPC said it's not the job we want, we expect. We have concerns about this process, about this company giving it to. The government has done their part. PPC is the government arm of the country regarding procurement. And they are saying that this is the issue that we are concerned about. If the government doesn't talk, if the opposition allows it, then I guess it will stand. Now it will be up to NEC now, after winning this battle, to convince Liberians and educate the public about this biometric process, which I don't think they have enough time to do. And that's where the next problem will come from. You're telling nearly 5 billion people that, this is a new process that you have to get adjusted to in 11 months. That's not going to happen.
Let me ask a question. When they appear before the Senate, right? Ronnie, they said that the executive, this is what the chairperson of NDC said, informed the Senate that the contract for the biometric, and you're right, they have some partnership agreement with Nigeria. Technical support is from Nigeria. We won't talk about her better involvement if you have anything to share. But it's important so the award was done in the confine of the law and in fulfillment of the PPCC requirement. Is that true? Did she lie on her own?
She lied, because PPCC just told you they don't have, the company not qualified to do it. They were very clear with their statement they put out that this company is not qualified. And everyone who was in that room, they're not going to put the life on the line and say this was fair and free, because it wasn't. I mean, this company didn't qualify. They didn't do the work. The machine broke down during the process, the demonstration. They couldn't do certain things in timely manner. So you're going to give them this kind of election to handle for the first time with all these question marks running all over the place. It's very difficult.
So with this report from the Senate saying that it was done within the confine of the law, you're saying that's a false. Now, so now the executive director of NRR as well informed the Senate that with better 10 months to the election, it is not possible for the NRR to partner with the NDC for the BVR, even though NRR has the expertise and manpower and all the equipment to do the job. They say it's not possible to partner, even though these people have what we need at this time to perform well. So therefore, she have to give this to a compound insurance.
Well,
Did it when the
because
Senate
the
was inviting NEC, why couldn't them call on PPCC? Because she put in this, they agreed. It was within the confine.
That's why it's important for this process to be as transparent as possible. Maybe through that whole demonstration process, if it was live on Facebook and social media and television, people will get an idea of what this process is. The companies that are bidding should explain to the public what this thing is. Maybe each of them should have had presented their proposal to the country, to the public, and let them go through and dissect it during this process. But that wasn't done. As a result, you have a situation where people are just going by what NEC is believing. NEC is suggesting that we all go with this one company. And if the government agency responsible for procurement is saying that this company is not qualified, and NEC is still saying they're qualified, this is a recipe for serious problem in Liberia.
So let's talk about her credibility, NEC credibility, then and all of the guys can come in. Because I love, and I hope we can share this on our page, James. The chairman of the election coordinating committee was concerned about the integrity of the process, adequate voter awareness about BVR, and the importance of conducting free, fair, and transparent election in Liberia. They are speaking on this key issue. Therefore, Executive Director of PPCC said no objection request from NEC was rejected because NEC refused to submit documentary evidence and the video recording of presentation of the software demonstration, which PPCC consider as material for granting the no objection.
So what you just read was after the first bidding.
Correct.
And the second bidding, those issues that were raised in that letter were not addressed after the second bidding demonstration. They were not. The company that she selected, did not perform well. The machine didn't work, and they didn't deliver in the timely fashion. So whatever she told her to do, she didn't do it. And the fact that she's still holding on to this one company, it begs the question that maybe something is going on, that she's compromised on this whole thing because of her brother's interest, and that's why she's doing the way she's doing it. Because this is the second case of potential conflict of interest involving this chairlady. It is the same brother of hers. So I'm not sure whether PPC can do more than what they have done. It's up now to the civil society and other people to really get involved, because I don't think the government has anything to do with it. Honestly, I don't think George will have anything to do with this thing. I don't think he's just lay back and let it play out.
I don't know whether she's aware. The attorney Jagbe Rosalie Nangwe Kawo, she's a former NEC. She's a former. She knows about NEC a lot. She worked with the NEC in the last election, and so and she's been doing a good job at PPCC. But since she's got there, and I'm sure she's aware of all these, how the bidding is done, and so for the contracts are given. But my point is, personally, I listened to Madam Director Brown on EWBC the other day. There's other pending issues that she got to handle that she's not even handling right now. And then with this issue, they asked a question about the Liberty Party issue. She couldn't answer the question. She couldn't state who is in charge or nothing. Then they asked her about they threat about the U.S. may pull support from NEC if sanction officials are not. You couldn't even address that too. Then with this bidding issue with this biometrics, I mean, it's overwhelming for her, and I don't know, but we have uh, perhaps the way all the news media are making noise about it now. I'm sure we'll hear from the political parties and the legislature. I'm very sure in the next couple of days we'll hear from them because it's serious. If this cannot be addressed, when are we going to start the voter registration? When we start December 15th, according to the calendar. When are we going to start it? It's concerning. And if the people realize Europe election 2023, the better they got to step up the game because we are off for a long ride and a joke though. It'll be a joke.
Yeah, I mean, keep your fingers crossed for any opposition figure to talk, but I don't see it happening. And the time is too short anyway for anybody to really change this thing that's happening.
Should we go back to paper then, like Ben said? Should we go back to our regular stuff with after 2023? Can the Senate just say, you know what, they recommend this? Because this is important to read. Just to sum this up and move on to the next topic. The recommendation, since almost all the commissioners at the National Election Commission seem not to be aware or involved in the process leading to the selection of ICAM International to supply biometric material for 2023 election, and the decision appeared to be unilaterally done by the chairperson, Madam David Eto Brown Lasana, the process should be conceived and NEC acts to initiate a new process. So they are saying that. So even so, the first one though, Ronnie says, all the commissioners,
I mean, at least
they didn't take part. It was done only by her and her group.
And that's the sad part of the whole thing. And that's why, I mean, it's not that this information about the other commissioners not in favor of what's happening is not out there. It's out there. It was out there the day after the process when she announced. Some of the commissioners was talking to the press about the fact that they were not part of what she was doing. So everything is out there. Civil society quiet, opposition quiet, and everybody waiting for the American embassy or the government or Georgia to put a statement out and say,
So do we have two government in Liberia now? The American embassy and government of Liberia. Is that what? Because if the American now people run to the American embassy to demonstrate, people run to the American embassy to cry wolf, and everybody want the American embassy to step into the country internal affairs. That's the only way things would change. Do we have two government in the country?
No, we have one government. You just have
so what the hell they run into the American embassy if they can speak?
Because they have a lazy opposition. When you're lazy, you want the Godfather to help you. That's what it is. Or put us on statement that nobody will read, you know, hoping that it will click. But that's the bottom line. You know, the government cannot do anything more than it's doing. The government, look, government is divided into different branches, right? Different sections. PPCC has said this is what's happening. They were clear about it. The president cannot come and say, oh, I'm intervening when my head of procurement saying this company is not qualified. If next year insists that they qualified, then we have a problem. But if the problem is not seen by the so-called opposition, then who is John going to say the crowd wolf for the bereaved? You know, the crowd more than the bereaved. You're not going to cry for them. It is what it is.
Thank you very much, our brother Rodney. We want to say thanks a lot. We can move to another conversation, but I think we have spent over an hour, 30 minutes on this. And again, we discussed the way forward now. Your suggestion to the Liberian people is for folks to speak. And what will be your message now, the way forward? If it doesn't change, what will be your final message?
You know, Stan, I don't expect anybody in this panel to cry more than the bereaved. I'm not going to cry more than the bereaved. I don't think Kev will cry more than the bereaved. But I think it'll be unfair to Kev the day after election results are announced for anybody in this panel to tell him that he's in the government pocket or he's doing his job. I mean, Kev that's who he is. But if things stay the way they're going, expect the unexpected. And that's just the reality of what we're seeing. And the bottom line is the opposition is very weak. They're expecting the president to come and put a statement to say he's dismissing next year or to tell the PPC to take action. He's not going to do it. That's just, it's not fair to him. It's not fair to the government. The government has said, the PPC has said, this is what it is. It's up to people to do what it's supposed to do. I know for a fact that if this is what the CDC opposition, they will not allow that to happen.
Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. Let's bring in the next conversation. Sentimony, George.
Yeah, I want to look at the appearance today of the Minister of Commerce at the Senate today. I witnessed I followed the hearings, and I would have thought that after a major rice crisis, the Senate would have taken a more stronger stand after what happened. I know some senators were very strong when they were in the grilling during the times of questioning, but at the end of the day, what I got from there, the minister literally threw her boss under the bus. Especially when the question came about when the president arrived from the UN General Assembly, he was asked, and when he made a comment and said that we have enough rice in the country that will last for a year. So the question was asked today, who advised the president to make such a comment? Because the comment the president made turned out to be because we have problem with rice after that comment. The president didn't visit the port, but the question was, who advised the president? Who gave the president that advice to make such a comment? So Rodney, I was thinking, what do you think would have been the right outcome from this hearing today from the Senate, especially after we went through almost 3 weeks of rice crisis?
I think the Minister of Commerce should have been fired for this crisis. I think President Weah failed on that front. I think the Minister of Commerce misled the president. From what I'm told, she was the one who told him that the rest was rice in the country. And any good leader would have dismissed his advisor for saying something that she couldn't back up. And I think that was a mistake on the president's part, or maybe a lapse of judgment by keeping on the job, realizing or knowing what rice is to this country, to have your chief advisor on commerce wrongly advise you on an issue like that. I think she should have been fired. But like I said, this is Liberia. Anything goes.
So okay.
My next question.
Okay.
When it came to the issue of,
we're doing one.
Okay.
We'll come to you. Go ahead, Honorable Kev Hassan.
Don't mind talking anymore.
Kev, go ahead. Then Chairman Ben will come in.
You're talking too much.
Huh?
No, like you're talking to me.
Kev, go ahead.
Yeah, I did not listen to Mawani today, so I'm not going to comment on it.
So
that's fair. Go ahead, Chairman Ben.
But let me say this. I was I know Mawani. I want to consider her a friend. I don't think we've talked in a long time since she became minister. But I was really disappointed today. I was disappointed because I thought she had an opportunity. And I agree with what you say, Rodney. The fact that the president didn't fire her clearly shows that he still has confidence in her. And I've said over and over that I'm not going to tell the president, I've never been president. I'm not president, so I don't know. Maybe he knows something that we don't know. But I give him credit for him doing what he does, right? But I thought she had an opportunity today to show some leadership. When you appear before the Liberian Senate, first of all, I thought she was very condescending. I thought she was very arrogant. I thought she was very rude. I thought the way she acted today was an affront, and I was very surprised that even some of the senators took it very, very lightly. All right, and part of the problem I see here is this notion that and I think it comes from the angle that the president, that he's not going to do anything to me. Nothing's going to happen to me, so I can say what I want to say. I can do what I want to do. when you come across, first of all, she never said that this was a crisis. She actually stated that I'm not going to consider this a crisis. She said there was not a time where there was no rice in the country. We had a shortage of stock in the warehouse. So I thought she was very, very condescending. I didn't think she went over there from that angle. The other thing that I was very concerned about was the fact that she, specific questions that were asked her, she did not answer those questions. She evaded the questions. And again, like I said, what I expected to see from her was someone who was going to go up there, take the bullet for the president, because ultimately everybody was blaming the president. He's your lieutenant. I mean, he's your boss. That's what a good lieutenant would have done. Take the bullet, own it, say, listen, we screwed up on this. We dropped the ball, honorable senators, but listen, moving forward, I want to work with you guys. Let's find some ideas on how we can mitigate and not go back to where we've come from. But what I saw was she was doubling down. She was digging in. And it's because she feels that she has the confidence of the president. So I thought it was a very low point for her today. I was one of the people who praised her when she spoke at the Independence Day celebration. But I thought today was a very low point for her today. And I hope she rethinks her strategy when she appears before the Liberian Senate. In regards to the senators, I thought, I want to commend Senator Bani. I thought he was very strong, being the Secretary General of the coalition, saying, this thing is not working. There were a couple of senators, Senator Dillon, I thought was extremely strong today also, asking her directly, since you don't answer the question, since you can't answer the question about whether, whether somebody advised the president or not, did you advise the president? So I want to commend him. I thought he exhibited strong leadership today on that floor. So, but I think when it comes to this issue of rice, Rodney, I'm trying to ask you, because they seem to be running on a Paris wheel. I fear that we're going to have this problem again. What do you think they need to do? What do you think we need to do as a country? Right? I know there is the politics, because they're afraid that if rice price goes up, it may affect. And I think any party, if they were in power, would feel that way. Right. So I don't fault the CDC for feeling that way. I'm not irrational to think that. But I think there should be a way here where we can walk and chew gum to be able to solve this problem. I just wanted to know what your thoughts on it, on how you think we can move forward.
Well, I think, first of all, if you look at Liberia's history and how things are unfolding, there isn't enough time before elections for things to change. But most importantly, any good president must learn from history. Today, Charles Taylor is at The Hague. He's there by himself. All the people who were around him when he was president, telling him to do this and that, they know where to be found. And I think the minister's appearance today showed that it should be a wake-up call for President Weah, because he has to understand that when things go bad, nobody is going to call my Wendy's. They're not going to call anybody, but they can call him, George Weah. He will be the one answering the call. And if your key lieutenant cannot take the fall for you, I know anybody who's seen the movie called Glory. There's a war movie called Glory with Denzel Washington. In one of the final scenes, the captain is holding the flag, the American flag. And when he shot, and before the war, he said, if I go down, who will take the flag?
Yeah.
And as he was shot and going down, the next person behind him took the flag and kept going till all of them died. But to see a situation where this president has not learned from history, that all these people around him, they're just there because they're getting what they can get from him. And my Wendy just showed that when the stuff goes down, when stuff hit the fan, she can protect herself. Because everybody knows she was responsible for that rice crisis. And there was a crisis. It was a crisis. I'm sorry. It was a crisis. And it's even a slap in the face to Liberian people who went through that problem. You saw the images on social media, the videos, and you say it's not a rice crisis. So all the people that was standing in line to buy rice, all the videos we saw on social media.
Exactly. I thought it was an insult to those people.
It was insult. And you cannot be going to election year and your key official in government on that issue behave the way she behaved today. She was arrogant, like you said. She was undisciplined, indisciplined. She was not someone who knew the facts. And she was hiding behind the fact that she has the protection of the president for whatever reason she has it. But she has to understand that this is not about her. This is about the country. And if you cannot take the fall for the president in a matter as important as this one,
of course,
then when will you take the fall?
Of course. Telling Edison.
Let me say this.
She told Edison.
Let me say this.
I think.
You know, to our brother, we do this every day. But again, we said, I think those folks that were asking questions, they were all play. It's a game. Mawani Deeks went in there because she knew exactly where she was going. She blamed the president and said the president, they should go ask the president. From day one of the rest situation, we were like you. But the question is, you know, everybody know, hell no, President Ware will not fire Mawani Deeks. It's not, the woman walking there like to say she doesn't care about Liberians. The interests, the bread and butter situation, she care less. She dealt with the senators. The senator didn't. I hear my brother Benson. We say, yeah, they asked her a question. They deal with her. No,
some.
You said some, but I say all of them. She dealt with all of them.
That's your opinion.
She dealt with all of them because Ben, have my time to speak, please. She dealt with all of them because the father. It just, you know, some of those things that they spoke to her already and begged her to go and sit in front of them. I'll play this video and look at Abachi. He was like, y'all heard of that woman leave from here. He was even mad. Just look at Abachi. When we play the video, Abachi was just sitting there. You know, another spineless Senator Proton, another guy that he doesn't care. We can open the phone line right now and ask that beer, my brother. Whoever would even think or dream that person will fire her. In the midst of rest crashing, the woman there ushering people in to go have birthday party with the president. In the midst of the rest crashing. The woman in her jean pants, her Gucci bag on her side. She ushering folks to go in there to celebrate just to please the president. And we are going to have the discussion that, yeah, they ask hard questions. No. What's the vote of no confidence in her? They took one, Ben Samby, Tomona George, you guys were listening. Did they put one on the floor?
The what?
They did it.
But it wasn't a majority of the Senate.
One thing they said that.
Again, my question is rhetorical, Sintomani. Let me continue, please. You're bent on this cycle of something. And I like the best way of life. The thing is that Liberia should know this, right? That it's a joke. The new show was coming. The new show was going to come and play them. She did it. And she walked out of there and said, you know what? I care less about what you guys are going to say.
You know, there are three branches of government. If you don't know by now, it's the executive, legislative, and judiciary. The way the minister performed today, it is in the legislature, the Senate, is how to perform the cabinet.
Yeah.
Okay? That's how she disrespects the cabinet. I mean, the cabinet officials.
Yeah, that's my point.
But to have her do it with the senators.
Yeah.
Okay? It tells you how bad off this country is.
True.
That's my point.
And that's how we have the same problem when election comes in next election, next October. With that kind of attitude around the presidency and a weak opposition, do you expect anything to change between now and October?
No.
The president cannot fire her. Take that from the book. The president won't do that. It's done. 10 months to go to election. The president will keep her to the end, till death do them part. The president cannot fire her.
But even when they asked her about the UN trip, they asked her, say, why you had to go to the UN trip? She get in, she checked him up.
But my man, the people beg the woman to go there.
Mind you,
Beg her to go there, man.
this is the same body that held Edwin Snow in contempt when you're not in that place. That had Darrell Taylor in contempt. But they allowed this woman to behave the way she behaved today.
I mean, it was a disgrace, to be honest with you. It was. I mean, I was.
In response, direct response.
I'm sorry, Ben. I just
No, go
wanted to
ahead.
say
Go ahead.
this. Yeah.
In our country. In response, direct response to your communication, let's begin with the shortage of rice. So what we occurred within the last month was an extremely low stock of rice in the country. There was never a point where we reached absolute depletion of rice on the Liberian market. There are several factors that led to the low stock in country. Allow me, I know the question is, the second part is in particular to the 11 million, but in order to fully provide clarity, please let me backtrack a little bit to 2021, the end of 2021, when we began the entire subsidy conversation. So due to increased freight on the global market.
So you see, that was a pure, she just laughed from the beginning of that statement.
Well, what's the arrogance saying?
She just, Ben, you say you know why she,
Go watch it.
You come back.
Arrogance. Go watch
it. You come back.
Don't got defend
But Kev, you want to come here? I will give you a chance to speak. I will, but please don't interrupt.
Oh my!
We gave you the time. You say you are not saying it. So, probably let me play again because I want us to see something. I want to. Yeah. No, Kev, you are free to ask your question. Go on to the second one, three.
But she couldn't come up. She could not come up to say these things that there were plenty of rest in the country. She couldn't face the press
because there were no rest in the country at the time. At the time when you see women and children jumping over barbed wires, there was no rest in the country. At the time when she agreed to give the first $3.5 million to the rice importer to leave the country on that Sunday to go to Ivory Coast and beg that they should bring rest in the country, there was no rest in the country. At the time when Wani D couldn't speak, and she was arranging birthday party for President George Manawia, there was no rest in the country. That's the commerce minister you have. A careless commerce minister, and we sit here and say President Weah will fire her. She worked for the president. She answered to the president. The president enjoyed her working performances. When the president came to the airport, she told the president we have rest in the country. That's why the president said he was going to the airport. I mean, to the Freeport. Did you see him to the Freeport?
Because he did say they told me.
Yeah,
he said the people told me there's rice here that was.
That was Mawani Dix that said it. But then look at the back. Look at Abache.
She misled the president.
Just look at Abache. Look at this guy. Like, I don't know how he become a Senate pro tempore, but look at him. I don't know why would they elect him again. That's a just.
In response, direct response to your communication, let's begin with the shortage of rice. So what we occurred within the last month was an extremely low stock of rice in the country. There was never a point where we reached absolute depletion of rice on the Liberian market. There are several factors that led to the low stock in country. Allow me, I know the question is, the second part is in particular.
Right now, let's go ahead.
Go listen to the facts.
Go on.
Yeah, no, go listen to
it. Let the Liberian go listen to it. It's not fair.
That's not fair.
Ken, when you're ready to talk, we'll bring you in.
What's not fair? Don't call that man.
Yeah, how can we?
Kev, you want to say something?
Kev, that one show you want to watch my one whole testimony.
We put the whole thing in the chat room live to watch it. We watch it.
Yeah. Kev, you want to speak?
Yes, I do.
Hold on 1 minute. Let's hear from Ronnie C. and you'll come in.
Like I said, I think the minister really threw the president under the bus. It's not a secret that there was a race crisis in Liberia. For her to go on before the Senate and say what she said, and to have the senators, play games with her, it just speaks volume about the direction this country is going. In any other country, you would have seen a serious contempt charge today with that minister, but there was none. There was no backlash. There was no putting her in check. And I've seen the same body do it to other people. They've done it to other people. So I don't know what the reasons were for doing that. And it's mind-boggling that they selectively do these kind of things to depend on who appear before them. Maybe her power and access to the president strikes fear into the senators, that they're afraid to do anything to her. They think that she will go report them to the president. When you have independent bodies of government, judiciary separate, legislative separate, and the executive separate, but it seems that she has control of everybody, and she can say what she wants and get away with it. That's the bottom line. That's it.
Wow. Yeah. $11 million go in fiasco. And she could come and talk Tabata to Liberia. I don't know, but anyway, it's like wasting water on top of back. That's personal. We are ain't no decision, and he won't fire anybody. And it is why it is. But those are the same people that are going to celebrate a victory 2023.
Yeah. Okay. We listen to her. She said, low stock of rice. We all know that, and I stand to be corrected, but I think and Rodney.
You should please let her correct you. So you say you stand to be corrected.
Ben, you stop this game.
You say you stand to be corrected. I say you let her correct you.
No. Let me finish. I stand to be corrected, but your newspaper, right, Rodney, right? I know you carried some of those stories on. Rice has been arrested in trucks, moving out of the country, and all that. So we know about the story. But she said low stock of rice, and we know that the rice in the country, it was low, and she also spoke about the factors. So I would urge for us to listen to the factors. What happened? I think that would be the correct thing to let the people know, because some people listen, but some people will sing this step the first time. So if we give half story, we're not giving the right story. It becomes misleading. So when she talk about factors, let she go on. Then we debate on the factors. Whether the factors is factual or not. But to just leave it half and send a dog whistle out there or something out there, then I think we're doing this service. I will say that. But we have to go story. So let's talk about the factors. And it's true. There was no stack of rice. She's not telling story. It's true. Because we saw they were arresting people, taking the rice out of the country. So it's true.
Okay. So you want us to talk about the factors, right?
We'll have to play. Let's listen to it. Don't debate on the factors.
Kev, you represent CDC on this show.
We go factor.
You should have watched her testimony.
That's not.
Let me finish, man. I didn't interrupt you. I didn't interrupt you when you were speaking. I didn't interrupt you when you were speaking. No, Hassan, I didn't interrupt you.
Man, we can't go.
If you wanted to watched it, Cliff.
No. Stop.
It's not only for me.
listen, it's not only for me.
Well, nobody asking for it.
Let be so.
No, we have places. We have international audience. We have people who don't have access to reading those things. No, but my man, we have international audience. We have people who don't have a way to listen to these things. They come on here to listen to us, and it's our responsibility to give a full story.
Okay, if you finish speaking, give us chance to speak to now. Okay. So you finish speaking. Do not interrupt, please. I beg you. You are quite correct. We should play the entire video. It's on YouTube. It's on Facebook. Go and watch it. Your commerce minister is the worst in the history of Liberia since 1847.
Not for me.
No. No, you said you were done.
Wow.
No. Kev, don't do this. Kev, don't do this. Kev, don't do this. Don't do this.
It's wrong.
You see, Ronnie, that's why we go through here on the show.
It's wrong and misleading.
But are you done? Are you finished speaking though? Are you done speaking?
No, I want us to come. Don't justify half story.
Kev, are you done speaking? Everybody on the show entitled to their opinion. Kev, are you done speaking?
Well, we're giving our people the rest story. It's not. It's not.
Are you done speaking? Because I rather we need to move on to Ronnie's here.
Yeah.
Are you done speaking? All right, please do not interrupt. Again, let me repeat, my brother Ronnie, then you can come in. The mistake you and CDC and the president is making to keep folks in government that continue to put our country backward for another 100 years. This commerce minister, like Ronnie said, and I have said it before, President George Manawe should have fired her, but he allowed her to organize a birthday party for him. She's the worst in the history of Liberia as being a commerce minister. She have caused mothers and fathers, babies to go to bed hungry for many, many weeks. For many, many weeks. We shouldn't do this. For us to sit here and to even listen to her lies. I will not even play the video. It's a worse. You know how many mothers, how many babies, children, how many are there that went to bed hungry because there were no rights? And Mawani Dix lied to the president, lied to the entire nation, lied to rice importers. She couldn't even tell us how much money she had, how much money was given to her. She couldn't attend the committee hearing. And instead she sent Roland. She couldn't answer questions from journalists. But when she saw the first ship, cargo ship that came from Ivory Coast, she put a gear on and she took picture. Liberia is a joke. Are you serious? You want us to go and defend Mawani Dix? When she was running a budget, a school budget year in Michigan, did she do that? She was going to be in jail. Mawani Dix is a disgrace to this government. People say she threw the president under the bus. No, she didn't. It was their agreement. For her to say, the president said, put it on me. They won't do anything. How about you sitting there looking at her? He couldn't even ask a question. Senator then sitting there playing fun. I think this is a joke because they knew she was coming. Every day we appear on the show, and every day it seems to Liberians that this government is just going to be a joke over and over with inept, mismanaged folks. He wants us to sit here and agree that Mawani Dix is a scholar. She know how to run commerce ministry. I rest, my brother Ronnie. Tell us about
before Ronnie coming, can I just say something quickly?
Go ahead,
Kev. Kev. This thing it's not funny. If it was not serious, it would be a joke. But it's not funny. Let me say this. I was one of the people. Please let me finish. Please let me finish. Please stop interrupting me. Thank you.
Don't throw me out there to the shop.
Interrupting me. I am not throwing you out of the chat. You the one speaking. You the one opening your mouth to discuss what you want. I'm throwing you to the chat.
Play the whole story.
But let me say this. I know what you're trying to do. You don't want me to talk, but I will talk.
No, but I want us to play.
Yeah, we'll play the tip. When you start the Kev show, we'll play the tip. But let me say, we I was one of the persons here. Let's stand on red. I was one of the persons who, most of the time when he was going extremely hard on her, and I would say it publicly, I was the one assistant on. We got to be careful. This is a very tricky situation. This is a situation where we got to be sure because this has a potential to cause crisis in our country. And you were right, Stanton. You're right. Mawani never spoke to the country. She didn't update the country. Because she didn't care. She didn't care. And that is the fact, Kev. And the buck stops with the president. She worked at his pleasure. So we're not going to sit here and sugarcoat this. What she did today to the Senate was disgraceful. What I expected her to do was to own up to her mess up. Be a leader. Part of leadership is accepting that you screwed up. And say, look, I take the bullet. This is my sector on my watch. And by the way, to a certain extent, she started saying it in the end when they were pressing her. So you go and you say, listen, this is what the problem is. But senators, under my watch, I make a promise to you guys that I will work with you guys, and this will not happen again. And you
I beg you, Ben, let me cut you because you just said something good. I beg you, Ben. Let me interrupt you. They all behaving like President we are. They all of his ministers, they are defying the people of Liberia. They care less about the people of Liberia. They don't care what you would say, Chairman Ben. She doesn't care what Ronnie here come here to say or what else Tumani going to say. No. That the people I didn't know. I don't care. I will remain stubborn. I would just speak out when I want to. I would do what I want to do, and I would just lie continuously. Liberians, 11 million given to that woman. Senator said it was 14. You don't give it to all. Between the finance ministry and the commerce ministry, what become of the 14 million? Yesterday, we received a ship at the port, and I was going to share this with you guys. Yesterday, the ship brought again rice. That's the second ship. But for $14 million, 14, and we're begging around to hustle for rice just to cover up and want to sit here and accept it and think it's the regular normal stuff. Chairman, come on, don't waste your breath, my brother. I know we said no demonstration, no protest.
Yeah,
correct.
No,
we were right.
And it's important
but
that
this is on the president of the Republic of Liberia. This is on George Manawia. Whether he fire or he keep his ministers or director, he should be held responsible.
Listen, I don't disagree with you. I think the buck stops with him. I said that over and over. But again, like I said, I would say it. I was on the record here saying, let's give them the opportunity. This thing happened. Let's figure out, we don't want to exacerbate the problem. We did on this show, all of us said, nobody should get on the street to protest. Mawani was talking today that this thing was now a crisis. If people had jumped on the street, you were going to know if it was a crisis. Does she understand? I heard Milton Tiaje try to give her an explanation, a history lesson of 1979, and she cheated him up. Yeah. And she cheated him up. You know what she said to him? Oh, thank you for giving me history lesson. At least it will form part of my knowledge. This is look, let me tell you something. What is happening is a problem. And at the end of the day, like I said, what Mawani could have done today was to show real leadership. Own it. Say to the senators, first of all, you are taking the air out of the entire room. Say to the senators, say, look, senators, I gave you my word. I will work with you now. We will not have this problem again. But guess what? We need to start to address this issue. I saw many things could have happened today. But when you go there with an air of arrogance and you think because you have the confidence of the president, look, governments comes and governments go. We've seen this movie before. And like I say, I started this program saying that I believe Mawani is a friend. I believe so. I haven't talked to her in a long time. But guess what? At the end of the day, when you have a responsibility to carry out, you carry it out. It doesn't mean that you are guaranteed that you will not fall by the wayside or fail. You may. And so this is, she should take her own message she gave on the Independence Day, where we were all clapping for her. So at the end of it, I just felt that I say this because what I thought happened today was totally wrong. And it was an insult to that woman who was climbing on top of that fence and almost dropping to break her neck for Mawani. If there was no crisis, what the hell that woman was almost jumping over her fence for? Because she just felt like it? What the hell was seditions who was sitting saying, we went to welcome the president yesterday, but hey, Mr. President, no race. We're not going to talk about the factors, Kev. She screwed up. Let's move forward.
You understand? I think Ben can remember. I'm sure Tumele can remember.
I'm older than that guy, then why I can't remember too bad.
One of the contributing factors that caused Boycott 2017 happened the day before the election. Mm-hmm. I don't know, Tumele, in that traffic. There was a massive traffic in town for hours.
I remember.
I didn't get home until maybe like 5 in the morning. Almost, it was a big traffic.
Oh, wow.
And what caused that traffic is perhaps what caused Boycott to do bad the election. Mm-hmm. They blocked, I think you remember, you don't have the headquarters. Mm-hmm. They blocked the entire road.
UP. Yeah.
They blocked the entire road, and the traffic went as far back as maybe around Cinco, maybe around 2nd, 3rd Street. There was, the cars were not moving because Congo back was blocked and the other side was blocked, so there was no movement, just blocked. The day before election, that thing made a lot of people angry. I heard people cussing the cars, posting on social media how they, and these are things that voters don't forget. And if you go before the Senate as a Minister of Commerce, when everybody saw the visuals, the optics of what happened in the country with the rice, and you go there with that kind of arrogance, declaring that there was no rice shortage in the country, when everybody was saying, and what is clear is that you told the president there was rice because you keep repeating this nonsense that there was no shortage. That means you told him, and for him to accept that as a president, it tells me that he doesn't understand history about how the likes of Charles Taylor sitting in a cell by himself with nobody to talk to. All the people who were there with him at the same time, they abandoned him. And it's people like Mawine Dix that cause these kind of leaders to fail because you won't take the bullet for him and you arrogant and stubborn.
Mawine will be right back in Michigan.
Yeah, and that's how it is. And
but you know, one of the things today that caught my attention, she was even trying to negotiate still for more subsidy, money to be appropriated to subsidize the importation. And Alexa senators like Bani were clear. I'm from the ruling coalition, but we're not going to vote for any money coming to you guys again. The money coming because they even demand her to produce documents to show how the money was used, how they use the money and so forth. But the whole thing is, the whole thing is all political because you want to bring the rice price down in a election year, so you subsidize the importation of rice. So as a result now, some of the importers are saying, "Oh, if you guys like," she called two importers' names, but now the action they asked her today, will you take action on the importers that decided not to import rice?
No legal regime.
Yeah. Because two importers said, we need money. We get money, we're not going to import rice.
So what's the way? What I want to ask now, what's the way forward? What's the way forward?
Somebody saying that now. And we're sitting out laying this thing.
Come to you after people will come to you. Go ahead.
What you saying?
Yes, my point here.
There's people turn to speak. People go ahead, please.
What is the way forward here?
I mean, blame Ellen again.
Is it that we are seeing now that you cannot take somebody from an education and put them into commerce and trade? It's not going to work. It's like, so I think the way forward now is Mawane need to go back to education. Maybe that way she's going to perform very well, and then put somebody who has who was trained, has the record set to do this job. But what we're seeing here is a misplacement, and when you misplace folks like that, you're not going to get the result. You're not going to get anybody. And I think it's time that when it comes to the commerce area, the rights issue, those are critical areas. You need the expert there who will really make that decision for our country. I think it's about time. But Ronnie, I want to ask you a question. Do you think this rice subsidy thing? Do you think the government need to still do that? Do they still need to do that?
Well, I mean, the last government did, so they have to continue doing it because they don't want a crisis on their hands. So they just have to continue because elections coming up. You don't want to.
They would never take it off before the election.
Yeah, they can't do it. They can't do it.
No,
but it's not a fact, Ronnie, though. To people the question that we can bring in Kev Hassan. We understand the government will continue on this path but the fact that the money it's not reaching to those that we reach to. Running the money, somebody chopping the money. We heard about 3.5, it went to 7, it went to 11, it went to 14. Somebody eating the money. I mean, Commerce Minister have become a cash cow. Yeah. Every little opening from every ministry and entity, somebody must chop.
But some of the business people themselves not even honest.
I mean, the businessman will not be honest because he
even the quality.
He's from a different country, most of them.
Even the quality of the rice they're bringing. Have anybody ask question about it? The quality of the rice is another thing that people are asking.
Yeah, because Rodney, the people will eat what you give them because they are starving, they are hungry. But when these have no love for the Liberian people, no love for country, the only love Mawani these have in your heart, I will not say it because I don't want to get in trouble. So they go to Kev Hassan. Kev, I can say everything, but I ain't saying that one.
That's all.
Okay, I was listening to. I know when you guys put in the chat room, but I was listening to it. Now I know why Ben don't want this tape to be played. Clearly, Ben knows that what Mawani we're talking about is the increments on the price of rice. The price of rice. I never went. I would listen to the tip.
The Bible deal with him. Yeah, they finished.
Prices feel that this thing is a joke to give misleading information because you want to win election. No, it's not a joke. It's a serious business. The reason folks don't want that tip to play because Mawani said it clearly. The importers want the price to increase, and the president said no. This subsidy thing started before what? I think 4 years ago under this government, or 4.5 years ago. It's not about election. But hear what Tomlin is saying. Tomlin is sending a misleading information to let the people know it's not now. And we need to stop this game. You if you get your side, you want your side to win, let's go to the issue. But don't mislead the people. Don't lie and say is this subsidy thing is political. They're doing it now. To give our people, our Liberian people, a cheaper bag of rice in that region. It's not political. $13. It's not. So if the importers, so she was talking about some factors, will the importers want this rice to go up? If you hear from the opposition side, from Ben Savi, from Tomlin George, all those guys, they want your rice to go up. That's why they are upset. Why you see Ben is upset? Because Ben wants the rice to go up because it's benefiting their side. So the people will feel that. Oh, the government is raising price up. So that Ben don't want you to listen to it. Tomlin don't want you to listen to it because why? Because Mawani is saying clearly, we're not going to put the bag of rice up. So that's why. So my people, if you see the objecting, they don't want you to listen to it because folks out there who don't
give Captain a chance, please. You're with
me. Folks out there who don't listen to what happened in the Senate, they depend on Spoon because we reach all over, all the four corners of Liberia better than any other station. So the people listen to us.
So by giving the half story, it's misleading. So I'm calling for the full story. So my curiosity and come in. My inquisitive side came in. I said, let me look in the chat room. Boom, I saw it. I said, oh, I see why folks don't want it to play, because they don't want to hear Mawani saying the president will not increase rights for our Liberian people. No way. He will keep it this way.
Yeah, but
wait, let the man finish by. I beg you. I know y'all want to kill this guy. Let him finish by.
So let everybody and I'm going to challenge my panelists. I'm going to challenge you guys. If you want the true story, play the tape. If you don't play the tape, you have something, you're hiding something. You want to send misleading story. So if you want the Liberian people to get it, I will challenge you now to play the tape. If you don't play it, you're trying to mislead the Liberian.
Okay, so Cap, let me say something, Cap. And you finish, right? You don't interrupt, right?
No, I'm not
interrupting.
Yeah.
Anything you're saying.
I'm a chicken killer.
I know.
Interrupt.
Cap. So
they don't want you to hear.
But Cap, hold on now. Cap, you finish. So we are not interrupting anyone, Cap. Let's give the guys chance to speak. Because I want to go back to the clip. Ben, I know you're about to speak for Nelson Tumani George.
Yes.
Thank you, guys. Give me a few seconds.
In our country. In response, direct response to your communication, let's begin with the shortage of rice. So what we occurred within the last month was an extremely low stock of rice in the country. There was never a point where we reached absolute depletion of rice on the Liberian market.
Guys,
you see the
I know you guys get hold on. Kev, you said you're not interrupt. Kev, you said you were not interrupt.
You can put it in the back.
Yeah, man, I would put this guy in the back.
You can put it in the back now.
No, because running. The woman said extremely. She said extremely low rice, right? Extremely, right? Now we show the people crying. Look at that massive group of Liberians. Comparing that to what Mawani Dix is saying, and let Liberian people judge. I think our brother is quiet now.
Yeah.
And let Liberian people judge. Then we'll bring in Tumani George and Ben Sevi and Dr. Richard say, I want Liberian to listen. Mawani Dix lying on live television. And the Liberian people looking for rights. And I love social media. Let's do it one more time. Chairman, you will come in. Then I think Brother Kev is quiet. Thank God. Let's do it one more time.
In response, direct response to your communication, let's begin with the shortage of rice. So what we occurred within the last month was an extremely low stock of rice in the country. There was never a point where we reached absolute depletion of rice on the Liberian market. There are several.
Guys, you have the time to speak.
You know something? Good thing the Liberian people don't understand. I think he was talking. I think he said he was speaking colloquial. They didn't understand. I think he was talking because it didn't sound like Liberian colloquial. Okay, let me say this to you, Kev. I will repeat what I said. You're not gonna use your normal talking points to start throwing things around here. I never said that we should increase the price of rice. That's not what my argument was. My entire disappointment in Mawani today was about her comportment and the way she appeared to the Liberian Senate. I have been on the record. I have consistently said that this is a very sensitive issue and that we should be very careful how we deal with it. So for you to come and say, and Ben wanted the price to go up, listen, the Liberian people, the one who went through this thing, I didn't go through it for the last couple of months. So they're not going to listen to that thing you were talking, Kev. The second thing I want to say to you is, maybe you need to tell Mawani this, that part of leadership is accepting responsibility for screw-ups. Someone screw up here. She is the line sector minister in the government when it comes to rice importation and all of these things. You don't want to acknowledge that. You sit around, you want to try to play politics with it to make it well. Say, oh, somebody said they should increase the price of rice. I just said on the show that the government will not stop the subsidy because it will be too disruptive. What I'm talking about is, and what I expected from Mawani Dix today was for her to go in there, own up to the problem, accept the responsibility, engage the senators, have a constructive conversation in full glare of the Liberian people to show some leadership, to show them that, listen, we will no longer sit around and allow this to happen to you again. But you know what, Kev? Mawani didn't have to jump on top of a fence to go look for rice. That's why you can sit and speak your fake colloquia to try to act like they say you're speaking to the Liberian people. And let me speak colloquia so you can hear what real colloquia sounds like. Liberian people, Kev, lying to y'all. Mawani did not do what he was supposed to do. That's why the rest were not on the market. Now that thing he was talking, don't play that game.
Okay. So hold on 1 minute. We got to bring in Kev. You can't do 2 for 1. The Honorable Kev Hassan.
You know, and Ben, I've spoke to you behind the scene. I know you're not a condescending guy. I know right now, you know, you're feeling the heat, so you become condescending. But I know you're not a condescending guy.
Can I interrupt him?
I'm not going to hold you responsible for being condescending today. You just put them and one who were condescending, but you have proven that on the show. But because I know you were, I was speaking to you. I know you're not a condescending guy. So,
all right, get to the point.
But there's sometimes the heat can make people go out of character. I think that's what you are. I know that's what you are today. But Ben, you yourself know that the tape that that we just played was doctor. That's not the tape. The tape will have to show the whole story. You know, it was they cut off Mawani, join something there. I think we should not do that. I think we should let the Liberian people listen to what Mawani say. You see, I like the fact that we talk to the people, we give them the fact, and let the people decide. So the people decide whether Mawani, what she was saying today, wrong or Mawani right. But we cannot go into the people's mind and change it. I think it's misleading. It's wrong. We're not supposed to do that. Not because folks want this government to lose the election, though we have to lead the people. You know, Ben, the last time Liberian people did that, 250,000 people died because of misleading story. We should not go that way. But like I said, I'm not going to hold you responsible for being condescending to me because I know you're not that kind of guy. But the heat sometimes make people go out of character. But I think we should. What I think we should do, I think we should play the whole tape and let the folks listen that the president don't want Liberian people to pay high price of rice. Folks within the opposition black want that. It's a fact. We know folks who have said that to the president, who have said that to Mawani, who have said that. We know folks who pushing for that. Reason number one, because some folks are related with the importers. They have business contact with the importers from the opposition side. And the president said, I will stand with the Liberian people. We will pay, and it will be $13. But folks are calling right now importers. That's some of the factors that led to the low rice on the market. She said the low rice on the market. She never said there was enough. She said low. And when you have low, you will have lines. Because the reason of that, they want us to buy rice in a high price. That's why this crisis. And the president said, I will stand with the Liberian people. I think we should give kudos to the president by standing up with the Liberian people and don't let us be high.
No, I beg you, Chairman. Thank you very much, Captain. I beg you. Thank you.
On the other side,
Folks on the other side
Hold
want to
on
use.
a minute. We're coming to you, Senator Money. Let him finish. Yeah, thank you very much. You know, the best time, I believe. Are you done, Kev? Are you finished?
No, I just want to wrap up this part.
Are you kidding me? What is this?
That the president will not increase rice. Not now, not after the election.
He knows what he's doing.
He will not.
So I think Chairman, lead the man, but I beg you, but we gotta go.
So no amount of force will force this president.
You know, Kev, thank you very much. Let's move on. Thank you. And Kev is done. Ladies and gentlemen, we're coming to you, Senator Money George. Kev is done. He will not interrupt. Chairman has spoken. We're going to go to Senator Money George, Dr. Peabody. Then running here will take us to the phone line. But I think for us to give kudos to the president, I was going to celebrate with this president, Senator Money George, if the president were to visit the National Port Authority when he said rest were at the port. But because he didn't do that, it's proof that there were no rest in the country. We understand. When folks were complaining about rice, President George Manneh, we have visited the port. Mawani Dix was with him. At the time, also, he visited the port the first time. He had the old man. Now, that is at Environmental now. What's the guy in the first commerce minister? Winston Tappet. So because there was no rest at the port, that was going to be so disgraceful for George Manneh. So we can't give the president kudos. I think the president made a mistake on this one. And I think the president is part of what Mawani Dix is saying. It's dereliction of duty. The president, on the rest issue, Mawani Dix issue, I think the president failed the Liberian people. He can do better next time. Senator Money George.
See, the only reason why Mawani is still Minister of Commerce today is because the president lacked the political will. That's why she's still Minister of Commerce. He lacked the political will to really deal with his cabinet officials when they blunder. And that's one of his problems in his 5-year administration. One of the reasons why we have not had no cabinet reshuffle because of things like what Mawani did. Even the senator who are always on her back, Senator Boto Kane from Babulu. She said today, by the time the rest get to Babulu, it's $20. But the $13, they add $20 on our to get it to Babulu. So you add 20 plus 13. You see how many people better?
$33.
Even mentioned today. So I don't know what the essence of if you got the whole goal was to subsidize the importation so that the price of rice can remain at $13. But with all what happened, people are still paying today. I just saw my road just now. They bought rice for $3,700 today. Okay, and for you to come here and try to mislead the Liberian people talking about politics, about election business, the Liberian people will see these pictures. It's left for them when they go to the polls. I was at 349 days from now. They'll be at the polls. They will make the decision, and this picture will come out. People use it in the campaign. They'll put it up. So you can do all your talk and thing, and when the reality comes on October 10th, then I know we'll be talking about that. So let's keep on making these false excuses.
Thank you.
Let's do it. She's going to join her job because the president will not fire her. Like we all saying, he will not fire her, and it is bad for the country.
I think we all said it here today. I think at one point today at that hearing, she did say that she take responsibility, but I think that she should have gone in with that mood of the humility of being very humble. And in talking about a situation like that, she spoke widely on the issue today. Then, even when the crisis was going on, you couldn't even get Mawani to even get out there and say, "My people, bear with us. We are working on this. Rights will come." In time of crisis, people want to see the leader come out to identify with them, and we did not see Mawani. We did not see her anywhere. We did not even hear her statement. We had to demand, reach out to some folks and say, look, tell her to come up, make sure the issue a statement tomorrow. And that's how come the statement came up the next day. But I think today was just an embarrassing situation. Even if she went in there to apologize, she didn't go there with the remorse to say, you know what, we are working on it. We have this issue and we're sorry. But like she was going to defend her failure. And that was very bad. It was very, very bad. And I think people need to be accountable to the citizen. You know, the people of Liberia put there. They are the one that bear the situation. And in time of crisis, come up. talk to them. People want to see their leader. I mean, if my kids are having problems and they see daddy around, they feel good. They get a lot of comfort in them that daddy is here. And, but nobody, the minister can be formed, stuff like that. I think today her presentation was really bad. And I think she ought to reach an apology to the Senate for the Liberian people for how she responded to that situation today. I think there are some people in government, you will like them, you will hate them, but there are people in this government that can take the bad and make it look good. And I always say this, hate him or like him, but if it was Samuel Toy will come out, even if it was a difficult situation, he would talk to the Liberian people. And that's why Liberian people want. They want to see somebody.
Samuel Toy said he tired talking.
So
Samuel Toy said Sunshine is around, he tired talking.
Well,
he want to talk again.
I'm just giving a scenario, she should have come up, even as bad as it was. If she had spoken to the Liberian people, that would have been a good impression. It would have brought a good impression.
Are we going to the phone lines after people?
Yeah, after Rodney C.
I do want to say something before we go to the phone lines. And
we're going to Rodney C.
Sorry. Sorry.
Yeah, humility is something that governments should be able to exhibit. And if you're not humble in what you do in life, it comes back to haunt you. And the fact that no one could take the fall for the president speaks volume about how this government is being run. And I think President Weah, without due respect, needs to go back to the drawing board and revisit whatever situation with government, with cabinet members. But what she did today was very uncalled for. And I think she needs to really look at herself, look at what she said today and how she behaved in front of senators. And the senators themselves got to be ashamed. They got to be ashamed of themselves. I mean, some of them were really, like Milton Tiaje, for example. This was the guy who once declared hair would grow his palm, but he sits there and someone belittling him and he just says nothing. So it's really, frustrating to see a government without checks and balance. That's pretty much what it is. There's nobody checking and balance to see what's going on, to hold people accountable. And it's like they pick and choose who to hold in contempt. They don't know who to control or who to. So someone like Mawani who has strong ties to the president, they feel like they're afraid of her. And maybe she will take the bad news to him or the good news to him and they'll all be in trouble. So that's how I see it.
Thank you very much, Ronnie. Ben, you want to say something? Then we'll go to the phone line.
It's not related to this right thing, and I don't know if maybe I should do it after, but today something, and this is on a more positive note.
You want us to do it after the phone line there?
No, before the phone line. Let me just get it.
I hope we're not going to mess our viewer to flip the conversation. Because the question we're asking them is about Mawani Deeds.
Okay, I understand. After the phone line.
Yeah, then you come in. So, thank you, Ben. Nelson Kola, let's go to the phone line. We got Rodney here. We spoke about the biometric, the National Election Commission, and this presentation today that was given by Mawani Diggs. Just your thoughts, just under 30 seconds. Talk to us, make your views, and then we can wrap this up.
Okay, so folks, you can call us up now. 0555-101075 is the number to call and you'll be live. Let's talk to our first call here. Good evening.
Good evening. How you guys doing? Let me say good evening to the panelists in the state. My name is Charles Lupo. I call you from Bagnersville.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you very much for the talking points. My issue here tonight is the government has displayed incompetence on this issue. Many different issues around the country. How do you do? I don't know
Your line is not clear. Maybe you have to shift. Okay, so let's take this person. Good evening. You live. Go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Jim Chikanga and I'm one of my capital Baba resident.
Okay,
and I want to say to Brother Ken, we are all Liberians. When similar thing happened that has the propensity to take our country back, is that thing for you to make mockery or a we the Liberians? We voted the president to help change our life. to help do the right thing so that bro will be a better place for our children tomorrow. Yeah. We're taking you, the sovereign will go to. We'll take you with your phone. Don't be provoking on the station. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good evening.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Yeah. This Electoral program we all used to enjoy. Men of playing our battery, we the current, we play our battery. But we don't know that this show and it's going to be a phone show. There is somebody on the show who is not serious. That making mockery out of us.
Thank you.
Making a lot of mockery out of what we die here.
Good morning.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Good evening to our Liberian people. My name is Dr. Saki Jion. I joined from district number 6, Bazalekari. Look, if you know that the shoe like where it hit it, because you eat America, eat shawarma, you enjoy the facility of America. That's why anytime we discuss issues like hammocking here, you dare back in the government here. I'm really not political person we are. We don't got political person. We will not work me for him.
Thank you.
So you should talk in the interest, you speak in the interest of all.
Thank
That's
you.
always be backing person we have to do.
Oh, we lost him there. Good evening.
Hello.
Okay, go ahead. Right. Yeah, go ahead quickly.
Imagine the CEO talking about arrogance. In the microphone, you for the president talk. You didn't caution him. So Jay talking about arrogance is arrogance. What arrogance makes the play? For the 2 minutes, for the 1 minute clip to play, I didn't hear any arrogance.
Okay, thank you. Good evening.
Good evening, my brother.
Okay, go ahead.
Clarence K. Mambo calling from Ghana.
Go ahead quickly, Clarence.
No, I mean, sometimes can speak if to say, I don't even know how to describe it. If you can see Liberia living now, even I will send some photo what the children looking for the Arimuna call on the dumper, get a farm food to eat. I will send the photo to Kev. Secondly, now one of this, look, I mean, one of your panelists just said it. Let's just go back to education. But I don't know the president, when we shuffle his government, most of them are not qualified for the position they're taking. And it's something the government, but he don't care. And whether dying, whether whatsoever happening, he don't care.
Thank you.
For legislation and the election commission, I believe this is get delayed 30. This is get delayed 30 for us to go back in the old system in order for them to run the election by swapping more ballot paper at the day in Rofa. And God forbid. And Lasana be very, 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 very careful. Eme Hama did it here. He had to run away to go America between Jackson F. Doe and Samuel K. Doe. You don't want something to happen here. All the war that occurring in the country that was starting there. We don't want it here. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much. Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening, Nelson.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, this is Edward 20M show, and I call it from my resident here in Tuporo. For me, yeah, I agree that maybe my way didn't get from world labor. Obviously, until she lying, honestly, she did the president. The president just gave her a miracle where I was doing any consultation. He just come and rest yet. I mean, I treat all the opposition doing that thing. So for me, I don't see my way in this lie today. I mean, she get lie. Honestly, she didn't tell the president, and the president was just using her own mind to say one thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
you.
Thank you very much. Good evening.
Hello, David.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, how are you doing?
Yes, sir. Go ahead. You're live.
Lasana calling from Brazil.
Go ahead, Lasana.
The issue of the opposition, they are not serious. If they really serious, what the election commission are doing now, they're supposed to come together and put their hearts together in order that they can taste it. But that's so we call it there to be serious and what after the thing that happening tomorrow, it will be serious embarrassment to us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good evening. Good evening. Hello, go ahead. Okay, we take this person. Good evening.
Good evening.
Okay, yes, go ahead.
Good evening to the panelists. This is the voice of Bobby Abu Meska call from SD Copper Road District State. Thank you very much. To the issue, we all need to be very careful. National elections here, the Epic Grand Lacana need to be very careful. We are not ready to repeat history. That history will not be repeated. We urge us to lead this country in the red direction, not to lead the country for a particular reason or in the interest of the CDC or
Thank
in
you.
the interest for the CDC government to maintain the thing. We don't want this to happen. We don't need chaos. Just if you lead right in the interest of every Labrador. Because anything happen in the country, everybody will see it. We don't want to go back to Dolly Labrador. So thank you ever so much.
Thank you very much for your contribution. Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, this is Rufus King.
Yes, Rufus, go ahead.
I think join the conversation was minutes. Yeah, CEO, I did my open letter 2 months ago. Yeah, my first long story.
Okay, thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. This is Evangelist Otis Cole.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you tonight. I just want to be very specific, especially to Kev on the rice issue that he's speaking of.
Mm-hmm.
He said rice is in the country. The other time Yeke Koluba was on the show, he said if you say rice is in the country, it should be all on the market. This afternoon, a friend of mine even went and bought that thing, that purple rice, and he bought it 2005 Liberian dollars, right around the president place there. And so, Kev, we love that you're part of the panel list, but sometimes you should speak through the power.
Okay.
And finally, CEO has submitted a document at your Monrovia-based office there with our brochure from the concerned Liberian youth. I hope you will, ask your people on ground, to give that to you so that you will peruse it and see what we put in there. We had a serious request that we put in. Not a request, but it's a general stuff that we wrote in office. So please check it out.
Thank you very much. CEO, we take more calls.
Just take two. Just take two more. Take two more, please. Two. Yeah.
Okay.
Because we're on top of the hour, please.
Okay. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah. Good evening.
I'm just reporting from intensive room.
Yes, let's
let me say this. I want to make people to understand that people should not put the election commission they will at up run against the public. This particular election will be free and fair. And the president we are going to massive with this opposition. So people should not be arguing about the another poll the run against the public. They should be free and fair.
Thank you very much. Let's already then take the final call.
Good evening.
Yeah, go ahead, sir. You're live.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. You're live. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. This is Michael Williams from the brother, the upper brother for CEO upper brother. CEO, I always want to remind you of one thing. This program, you put it together in order to help the Liberian people in this kind of time, because in time like this, God knows the reason why you have to bring you on board in this country to help us, Liberia, because all my need at such a time that they will come, so that you'll be the more peace for us. But I don't think by bringing this show is to also be a moderate to the Liberian people. That a man that kept aside, you're keeping on the show continuously to keep frustrating the Liberian people.
Thank you.
So, CEO, we're begging you, please. The kept aside got nothing to say on the show, and you just leave the show and stop provoking the Liberian people. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your contribution.
Thank you very much, Nelson. Nelson, want to say thanks to all our fellow Liberians that had an opportunity to call. This is Spoon Talk. You can find us on Fabric, on Super TV, Super FM, all of the social media outlet. We want to say thank you very much I think we will announce before Ronnie comes in. We will be having a guest panelist tomorrow, Victor Hoekstrom, PBS President and CEO. He will be our guest panelist tomorrow. We'll be discussing Liberia issue. We'll not be discussing PBS here in America. He's a giant in the media industry here in America. We will have him. We'll be discussing Liberian issue. Victor Hoekstrom is his name, the CEO, president of PBS, the man that know how to turn media outlets around, networking. And he's a good man. Again, I was privileged to speak to him today. He will be our guest panelist. On Thursday, we have Simon Freeman. Simon Freeman will be back on Thursday by God's grace. Again, we're going to have Dukley. Dukley is running, Mohammed Dukley, he's running in Bapolu. He will be our guest, I think, on Friday of this week as well. We want to say, please, if you want to come and appear on Spoon, you want to do your jingles, your announcement on Spoon, understand that you have, please just reach out to the network. You have our phone number. My number is 609, and James going to put it up, 649-4206. If you want us to participate, like we did our sister Maikan, just to encourage folks to visit her and elevate her business, we'll be glad to visit you as well. We say thank you very much, our brother Ryan, and thanks for everything you continue to do on the front page newspaper. I believe that you are all over the country, and you're doing extremely well coming up with a new story. Please talk to Liberians tonight and give us your closing, sir.
Well, it's good to be here once more, and thanks for everything. I think it's important that Liberians understand the implications of actions that we take each and every day. Whether you're a cabinet minister in the government or you're in opposition or in the legislature, we all have a role to play. And the panelists tonight, they all have a role to play in our society. And the journalists that do the work every day have a role to play. Each person should always strive to make sure that we do the right thing so that Liberia can prosper in the future. And the next election is going to be very important. I think everyone should play their role efficiently to make sure that we do the right thing. I urge the National Election Commission to take their time in this process to make sure that all the screws are tightened, all the I's are dotted, all the T's are crossed to make sure that this election is free and fair and transparent so that there can be no chaos or confusion coming up. And I think it's important for everyone to have a very distinct viewpoint on what it is that we want in our country to go, on what we wanted to do. And I think we all have to role to play, and we must play it the right way.
Thank you very much, our brother. I mean, I know your children, you can go anywhere. And with us, let's close the show. Let's give the guys a chance to close. Chairman, you were saying something,
Yeah.
Chairman?
Well, I wanted to say something on a positive side. I saw something happen today in Liberia, and it's personal to me. And I felt it was important. I jotted it down. Today, the president dedicated Liberia's first oxygen factory where they make oxygen on Star Base. The president and the Liberian government, and I think international partners, USAID, the government of Canada. I don't know, Rodney. I don't know if you saw that also. And the reason I bring that up is because it's personal for me. My father, I know, when he went to JFK, it was one of the contributing factors to us losing him. I believe even my aunt. There was this, and I know there are thousands of Liberians who have experienced this thing where they go to the hospital and they say, "Oh, there's no oxygen," or they put some empty tank on you, and it's like you think you're getting oxygen, or you think your loved one is getting oxygen, and they're not. So I felt when I saw it today, it was very emotional for me because I know we're in the 21st century, and I know these are not things that we are even supposed to be having conversations about. But I thought today we moved the needle a little bit. It's just like how when they opened Jimale Diagnosis Center yeah, there be a rule when Social Security opened that building, where because at that point in time before then people had to go to Ghana just to go get diagnosed, right? It's the same thing with dialysis and all of that. So I felt it was important that I bring that up because, like I said, it's something that was personal, that is personal to me. And I just want to thank the government of Liberia. I want to thank our international partners. I want to thank the president. I think this is in the right direction, and I was really moved when I saw it. I was really,
Thank you.
really moved because I know there are thousands of families, millions of Liberians now, who at least that's something less that we will have a problem with to say somebody died because there was no oxygen. I just pray that they maintain the facility because I know maintenance is our problem. I pray they maintain the facility, but I wanted to thank the government of Liberia, thank the president, thank our international partners for doing, for investing in such an important component in our healthcare sector.
Thank you very much, Chairman Ben. So, guys, we want to say that let's move on. Let's do our closing. Dr. Peabody, you want to close?
Great show tonight. And again, it's always good to see Rodney. I also must join with Ben in commending the government for that. That's a life-saving stuff. The oxygen plant they were able to install today and or dedicate. That was a life-saving, and I want to commend the government. I think it is appropriate that when the government come up with a project like that, that we also show our appreciation for what they have done. But let me also say that sometimes we are accountable to our people. Leader will always be accountable to his people, and sometimes humility will take you a long way. When you humble, you can overcome a lot of things. Even when there's something in plan for you, you can cross that bridge when you humble. So I think today, presentation by the commerce minister was just very poor. I don't think she should have presented herself in a way like that. I think she owed an apology to the Liberian people. But let me also say, Trenton, the folks from Trenton say they contacted you. They are having the Liberian Associate Trenton. They
Is
are
there an
having.
announcement yet? I mean, where you
Well,
gonna
so they
announce it?
contacted you. So I just want to say that.
But you're gonna announce it. You already text me on it, so
Okay, all right. I'll let you know. They keep hitting me, and you refer them to me now, bro. All right. So
thank you, Dr. Peabody. We appreciate it.
All right.
You know that's your area. You'll cover that end for us. Sintoman and George.
It was a good show today we have, and sometimes it's always good to discuss the trending issues in our country. And like today, like Ben, I watched the program with the president commissioning the Liberia First Medical Oxygen Plant. It was a very fine program. But you see what can happen. Such a good news, but the Minister of Commerce story overshadowed that. Such a good news. And also yesterday he also did a community development program. That was another good news on UN Day. I remember when I was in Liberia, when he was coming from dedicating the dialysis center. He called me that day and he told me. I told him, I said that's a big deal, The first time our country was having a dialysis center, and I commended him that day. I said it was a good thing, and the positive things, when the positive things come, we talk it. That's why we go objective and independent. We're not just one sided. We try to be very rational and positive. But when the issues when the negative issue comes, we got to talk it. We cannot shy from it. So, but again, I want to commend the Liberian government, the Ministry of Health for such a plan that was dedicated today and the program yesterday. And we look forward to having more positive things happening. But with the next few days to the election, 349 days, they should not take nothing for granted. Like I said, always, I want to see the various parties' ticket, how it will look, who will be the vice president for Cummings, for Tiawan Gonglo, for Joseph Boyka, to know what's happening in the election. And so it won't be an easy election. The runner said today it will be a tough election this year. We should not overlook it. It will be too close to call. We should see it happening. And hold NEC and action is taken on NEC finally to put the issue to rest about this biometric stuff. It's important. And last, before I close, I want to say that to contact our brother for this our sister funeral. Milton Joshua is 718-938-3469.
So thank you very much, Anthony.
He's
We'll give you a chance at the end of the program. You'll give that number better.
You got
all right.
Call to him. Okay. Thanks. Bye.
At the end of the program, you'll repeat the number because it's important for folks to hear you. Kev Hassan.
Yeah. We come on every day here to give the story to our people. Everybody, we all have and I don't know, but I have my side. I've declared my side, and I was stand up for what I believe in. History will judge me. History will judge me based on, it was one of my closing on the oxygen. Then you brought out the thank you for bringing it up. History will judge me on that oxygen Ben was talking about. History will judge me in dialysis center. First in our kind, oxygen first in our kind. History will judge me. History will judge me on the homes, well-furnished homes that this person built for people. People are calling, people are insulting me, people want me off. The same people who call for freedom of speech and freedom are the same people insulting me on Facebook, want me off because I choose my side. But history will judge me on the good things this president is doing. History will judge me for the homes in Bomi country where I grew up. History will judge me from there. History will judge me for the lights in Bomi country. History will judge me for so many things. The hospital in Bapulu about to be launched. History will judge me. The 14 military hospital. Redemption has been built. History will judge me if all those things we're talking about. History will judge me. The city of hope for our disadvantaged women, girls, boys. History will judge me. But if we look at all the good things this president is doing and say Mawani arguing in front of senators, the legislature, which the country that we live in that they do that every day. You turn on C-SPAN right now, you see arguments on the floor. You see government. Go and listen to the White House press secretary and the press. See how the arguments, see how they're going at each other. No, we should talk about Mawani today. And the oxygen will come as just an announcement. History will judge me. Not only me, history will judge my children. I will say this. History will judge me when there was nobody in our dark days, only this president that we knew. History will judge me for that. History will judge me for this president taking part in disarming our children. History will judge me. History will judge me. Yeah, let history judge me for the good things that is president. It's sometimes we come on the show, we argue on the issues, we talk about it, but I have been prosecuted because I speak from people who in homes in Popo Beach. That from the slump, they're in a good home. History will judge me for that because I speak for our people. I was looking at a picture. I wish you had time.
When women were laying down on that field, praying, and that field today, the homes are there, that invisible part. While what women were laying down on that and praying for the war to end, the president went there and changed that place. History judge me. Let history judge me for the good things. You know, guys, you know, it sounds funny, but I always say to myself, during the show, I feel terrible. When I've been hit, I'm a human. But after the show, something always come to me and say, you will laugh last. You will laugh today. You will smile today. You will mock me. The way I speak, the way I sound, the way I look. People will mock the president. The way he sound, the way the president speak, they will mock the president. We used to that. We used to them telling us that we don't speak well. But you know what we know how to do? We know how to make people's life become better. That's what this president know how to do.
That a whole day now.
You get people. But man, if you don't want to listen to it, you can go off. So you speak. You know, I always say this. When you speak in the right thing, it's not the kind of thing irritates people's spirits. Irritate them. You see, they always come up.
So what you trying to say? We love good.
People don't want to hear it. Well, of course. Let me tell you, if I were bashing the president right now, like the people will be clapping for me. They want me to talk. They'll say, "Go ahead." But
I love you, man. I love you, my brother.
Because they don't want to hear the truth. The truth is, when people calling on the show and saying things to me, like the people, you should have just tell the people, don't say that. When you listen to them, you enjoy it. They don't want me to reply. That's the kind of Liberia we want. History will judge me for that.
I don't want to control the studio.
So what I'm saying is, if I on the wrong side, history will judge. But this election, we're going to win it fair, free. This election will be free and fair, and we're going to win it. And we'll win it, and we'll come back on the show, and I will laugh, the best on the show. Then you guys probably people don't want to talk to me anymore, but we'll take the pain for now. The harder the battle, the sweeter the victory.
Thank you very much, Kev Hassan. Let me say
I love you, man.
Let me say to folks out there, there will be no one on this set. We appreciate that you enjoy the program. We appreciate that you follow us every evening. We appreciate your participation. But we cannot and we shouldn't call that one of the panelists should be removed. We are all entitled to our free speech. We are all entitled to our opinions. Mm-hmm. It is who we are. I may disagree with Kev Hassan, but he cannot be removed from this set. Mm-hmm. If you appreciate that I'm on this set, appreciate Kev. Disagree with his views. Disagree with what you believe that you just will not accept. But we are here to stay till after election, till inauguration day 2024, when we will drop the mic. I can guarantee you, Spoon Talk, we will drop the mic by the grace of God.
But what are you announcing about the budget?
Because after election, the new generation will come and continue.
I know, yeah. Why would I lie?
There will be no way that will sacrifice our time 7 days a week. And our family sit back and just look That is when will you leave?
I'm telling you.
When we leave in church, we hurry to come and do spoon talk. We are leaving work, we're driving more than 75 miles per hour just to come and make it on time on the show. You need to appreciate everyone. I may not accept the communist view. I may not accept President Weah views. I may not accept Jose Yimabwaka. But I accept you as a Liberian. And I appreciate your time. Do the same for us all. Where there will be no Kev Hassan, there will be no spoon talk. Where there will be no Ben Senvi, St. Tomalin George, Dr. Richardson, Henry Peabody, there will be no spoon talk.
Why God gave me alone?
Because there will be a spoon talk when you have us all.
I know, man.
Morara, Yakula, Stanton, Witherspoon, everyone. But you cannot. When you take a charcoal away from the burning fire, trust me, that charcoal going to go off. So you will speak. So take Kev off.
That's very powerful. That's very powerful.
Kev is part of this program. Kev will be the one to sign us off comes January 2024 after the inauguration.
Win or lose.
Whether he wins or whether he ends up losing, he will be the one to sign us off. So we are in this together, guys. Without me, Spoon Talk will continue. Without Ben, Spoon Talk will continue. We cannot ask for freedom of expression. To look in the president's face and tell the president you are wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Then you holding Kev responsible and say, let him go. He's not saying no. That's his views.
True.
That's his opinion. He's passionate. Accept him for who he is. And accept me for who I am. I'm not perfect, man. Come on. Sometimes we exaggerate these stories to give you some form of entertainment. But I will stand for Liberians. I will stand for the people of Liberia. I will say no to injustice and corruption. I will say no to poverty in our nation. I will say no to poor education. I will say no where there is no proper healthcare system. And I will tell you the truth. So I want to say thank you for joining us always. We appreciate you. On the side of the oxygen, prior to the wartime, we have an oxygen tank factory in the country. So this is not new about the oxygen company. It's not the first time. But well, we got to appreciate the government. Because like Ben said, they had an oxygen tank on my sister. They crank it up. They call me. And I asked the nurse at the time, can you take out the tube and put it on your skin and feel where the oxygen is flowing? It was empty. The tank was on, but there's nothing in the tank. This is good. And I hope this president can do more. And I hope this president can do more. A little here and there will help with honesty, with sincerity, with truthfulness, not with kickbacks. So what was done today, we appreciate the government and the people and the partners and those that contributed. We appreciate them all. So I want to say thank you. Ronnie, I want to say to you, this is a story for tomorrow, a recipe for cares. You want to talk to us? An emotional date of trial. I believe this trial you're talking about is what is taking place in Europe, Ronnie. There's a lady that just reached out to me. She want to come on the show tomorrow to talk about this trial. She one of the Liberian journalists up there. She want to tell us. Well, can you talk to us, Ronnie?
The Contike trial is going on in France. As you know, a lot of people have been talking about war crimes trial, tribunal in Liberia, but it hasn't happened. The Swiss group, Civitas Maxima, have been doing a lot of investigations and bringing these trials outside of Liberia. Contike, as you know, is one of the fiercest warlords during the war. He's on trial now, and hopefully that there will be some justice. And hopefully one day Liberia can have trial on its own soil. This is what it is. Also, the issue with the election commission, the donor community are concerned about what's happening there. The government itself is concerned, but what's going to happen, we're still waiting to see. So that's it.
We want to say to you, Rodney, thank you very much, my brother. It's good to have you always. And you're always welcome, man. I can't wait for that book.
Yeah, Rodney,
we'll be there.
Panelists too, man.
Yeah, you got to come in. We got to fight this thing together, bro.
Yeah, we launched the book. I'm finalizing stuff in London. That's why I'm here. We're launching in London March 11, open in DC, Washington DC, April 1st.
I'm going on a world book tour. Damn.
Yeah. So
Go ahead, RDS.
One good thing is that the people listen to you when you got there. They decided to put Black Indians as their new prime minister. Congrats, Ronnie. Congrats. Beautiful.
But stand up. Before we go, I want to send a shout out to our baby Melissa.
She's doing extremely well.
Yeah, we are keeping our fingers crossed. We're not going to announce anything, but we're keeping our fingers crossed. We believe a miracle is about to happen. So I know she's watching. I know we haven't talked about her in a while, but we want to send a shout out to her today. I think she went to the hospital. We're keeping our fingers crossed. You guys keep her in your prayers. She is strong. She is still pushing, and she's one of us. And definitely we'll be bringing her on very soon. We just need her to get a little stronger. So I just thought to throw that out there.
Yeah, Melissa is great. I received her report from our brother, and thank you for sending me the same report, Chairman Ben. I think we got to place a call to Melissa. We wish her well. She's fighting this cancer thing, fighting with everything in her body, in her vein, and she's in our prayer. I want to say thanks to her parents, her supporters. They are very strong, and they are encouraging her. We have fun with her, and I think we need to schedule another visit after this is all said and done. I want to say thanks to every one of you. Tomorrow we'll be having a wonderful show. Don't forget, Victor Hogstrom will be our guest panelist tomorrow to discuss national issue, and this will be very, very interesting. Stop by and listen to us. Brother Siet, thank you very much, my brother.
Yep. No.
Yeah, I want to excuse you because I know Kev coming to say something, so I don't want you to be in the crossfire. All right, bro. Thank you very much. Nelson, come back on. We are done. That's a wonderful show, guys. We want to say thank you.
History with judgment.
History with Joshua, whether you're on the right side or the wrong side.
Right side of history.
Yeah.
About
you're on the right side of history or the wrong side. History with Josh, every one of us.
You want to play victim on the show here today? History with Josh.
History with Josh, everyone. You know, Kev has some very important talking points. But the way in which he laying them out, that's the problem.
History with George. Those are us who fund the CDC. You know, when nobody were around. When George was fairly.
How many more, man?
We're talking.
When people get started.
I can throw Java.
Oh?
We're talking so. What you mean mentoring Java?
That 2004, they were insulted.
Let me ask a question, Ben. I'm saying something. And we'll get a clip tomorrow. Under the sycamore tree is empty.
We'll get back.
Wait. Seriously, I would also talk about this. Something is happening with CDC, though.
I saw Sam Jackson was live today with me and people.
I saw it. No. But something is seriously happening with CDC. They are losing membership like crazy. CDC. It's not the CDC that we know, Chairman. You're giving 2 seconds. Let me talk on this one today.
It's more even we're shot abroad.
CDC, if they fail not to carry the school buses that Sir Joseph took to Liberia, they should use it and go in the interior and bring the school inside.
Why do they call
No. Let me finish, Ben. Don't change my story. The school buses that Sir Joseph took to Liberia, I will advise them to use those school buses to go bring people in town to go under the sycamore tree because it's empty. The tree is dry. If you knew CDC 2011, 2017,
I think
2005.
we go personal on
That's
that.
not.
Man. I
That's
think we
not
should go that.
bad.
I think we should go
Can I
that
finish?
route.
Yeah,
I'm
but
entitled to my opinion. I am
CDC,
entitled to my
CDC
opinion.
cannot be the same now.
I'm not entitled to my
I
opinion,
think we
Dr.
should go that route,
Peabody.
Clinton.
That Pastor Peabody. I'm not
Well,
entitled
you
to my
can call me.
opinion.
No, but
You can call me
yeah.
Bishop. Oh, I ain't care.
Evangelist Peabody. I'm
You can
not
call me
entitled to
Bishop.
my
I
opinion.
care.
Bishop Peabody.
Yes.
I'm entitled to my opinion, Bishop. I would say, somebody, Josh, help me out here, my brother. Something is happening with CDC. CDC, the compound is empty. I think these people should wake up. I think the Liberian people, they are sending a message for you to see ministers at that compound. Then that serious thing happening to CDC. For you to see Sam Jackson begging people to come on video. That serious thing happening to CDC. The CDC will know if they go on that compound. If they go on that compound, the whole road black. But the road, a free movement. Something, Liberians tonight, something, observe this. Tomorrow, I'm begging you, let me ask you guys, please, don't make this government shame. You just go there for going there sake, please. I'll beg you.
CDC cannot be the same.
This is what 18 will be different. This will shut up, brother.
In what way? What do you mean they cannot be the same?
They cannot be the same. They're a ruling party now. They cannot. They have a record. They cannot have the same energy they had as an opposition party.
Correct.
I can engage them based on what they did in the past, as far as an opposition. But I can engage them. That's why I'm looking forward to seeing what they do in the election.
But Ben,
Ben,
that's a good spin you just gave them. But I will say to the Liberian people tonight, the CDC, even if you were to serve, right, your output should generate people under that tree.
Which is true.
But something is happening. Them man wanting this, man go sit in front of people and say we get arrested. How will people go under the tree when man wanting this lying?
I mean, that was the show finish. Let's go.
Yeah, should I feel let me my beginning? How will people? How will people go under the tree when man wanting these two in front of people and lie and say the country never had a rest shortage? That was a blanket lie. Those very people that were looking for rest and jumping over the wire fence, they were the ones that supposed to be under the sycamore tree, but they are refusing because the government lying to them continuously.
Okay,
and that's a fact. Claire,
all right,
Claire,
Jim,
Claire, he finished. Claire, I beg you, Ben, finish.
Yeah, James, y'all take it over. Nelson, y'all take it over. I see you. Y'all let go.
Yeah,
let's go back. Yeah, you can
have a good night, guys. Man. All right, Dr. Peabody. All right, Kev Hassan. Nelson, y'all take care. I know they're forcing me out.
Yeah.
I'm at 10 at you, and let people then go back. What we got to do? You're hurrying to go? Let people then go. Let's talk to our Liberian people tonight. No, seriously. James, you saw the video under the sycamore tree. Did it meet your expectation?
Let's look at the time. Today is Monday. People still hustling.
Today is not Monday.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. It was on Tuesday.
Yeah,
I'm in Wednesday.
You in Wednesday, so you confused.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It was on Tuesday, right? People had to go hustle. They had to go do this. They had to go do that. So you would not expect everybody to go there during the weekend.
You put it on Saturday. People will still not go there. You know what, James? Because the people are tired. If President we have faith to turn this thing around, the people are speaking to him. The election is between President Weah and the Liberian people. It's not between President Weah and opposition.
Don't make Kevin come out.
The election is not between President George Manuel Weah and opposition. The election is a direct election between George Manuel Weah and the Liberian people. President Weah is arguing, he's making a case to Liberia. So the billboard should say, President Weah versus the Liberian people, not UP, not CPP. No. It's President Weah and the Liberian people. And we should outline with bullet points the Liberian people argument poverty. Number one, we should apply it. And that's why I like my extra few minutes with you guys. You in Liberia, Nelson. The suffering is serious. I don't want opposition to say I'm opposition and let me put myself this way. No. I don't want CDC to say I'm CDC. Let me put no. This election is a direct election between President George Manneh Weah, President of the Republic of Liberia, and the Liberian people. The people that voted for him 2017. And the president should make a convincing case if you want the people to vote for him again. With less than 1 year to go, James, less than 1 year to go, you found the president commerce minister lying to the senators. Like Liberian people stupid. Where were Mawani Diggs when women were jumping over barbed wires? Where were Mawani Diggs when babies were going to bed hungry? People were living on farina and cassava. Where was Mawani Diggs? Should we name them? This election is President George Manneh Weah versus the Liberian people. And the Liberian people will speak. President George Manneh Weah, can we say he have more time? Yeah, he has time. He can change things around. He can make that change. If this president try to make that change, the conversation will change. Look what he did today. Oxygen machine. It's not the first time, but it's good. Let him visit those ministry. Let him see for himself. Not let people come to him and telling him lies. Let they lie to him and say, Mr. President, rest in the country. That was a blanket lie. And so we would talk to Liberian. We would be in Liberia and encourage Liberian. We would tell them this election got nothing to do with Cummings. This election got nothing to do with Bwaka. This election got everything to do with George Manneh Weah and you, because you voted for him. You voted for him. You walk under the rain to vote for him. You walk under the sun to vote for him. You woke up early in the morning to vote for him with hope and expectation that your life was going to change. For 5 years, are you convinced that President Weah has done enough? When you look around you and see his ministers living in mansions, when you look around you and see his directors having 3, 4, 7 cars in the yard, but yet and still you, Liberian, you have to knock on the gate, stand there for hours, begging for bread. Enough is enough. We should tell Liberia, the president has the time to turn this around. The president has the time to speak to the Liberian people. And he should go through and say what Waiton Sangawulo said. I think it was him. I know what it means to eat cassava. I know what it means to eat pancarish. I know what it means to suck kiss me. I know what it means to eat yogagari. It's time for the president to speak to the nation and give them some hope and give them the encouragement and talk to them that their life will be better. I want to appreciate you, James. I want to appreciate you, Nelson. I want to appreciate Liberians for taking the time to listen to us, because we'll never lie to them. We'll never deceive them. We will always tell them the truth. Because this time around, our country, our people deserve better. This time around, President Weah should do that which he did before when he was playing soccer. It took everything in the president then to be African best, European best, and world best. We want to see President Weah being Liberia best. That's what we want to see. We want to see President Weah listen to his inner self and doing that which is right for the Liberian people. Going above and beyond and giving hope to the hopeless. We want to see. We want action. We don't care how you speak. I really don't care how you dress. I care how Liberian people will benefit from this leadership. With 1 year to go to the election, we won't see nothing but that which is right for Liberia. And we'll make the case, by the grace of God, we will travel through Liberia and we'll make the case. Because Liberia, children going to bed hungry, sick, no medication, dying in poverty, lack of perfect, better education, no electricity, no library, no after-school program, children going to school hungry, go to hospital, no medication, no LDC even at the hospital, roads bad, RIA. The president needs to turn things around. Stop playing games. And we will say this. We will put our life on the line for this. Because Liberia deserves better. I want to say to you that listen to us on the radio land, keep the faith. Keep the hope. Hold on just a little more. Just a little more. Don't give up. Don't give up. For the God we serve will see us through to that promised land. It may take 40 years, but hold on. Keep the faith. Better days are coming. Better days are coming. James, have a good night, man. And be safe. Nelson, be safe. And Liberia, please be safe. God is still on the train. You have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. See you.
To get your information.
Okay, folks. The voice of the CEO there. Of course, you listen to the rest of the panelists as well. They were here. Bringing to you Liberia's premier media show. That's a media platform, the Spoon Talk. The program is here every weekday, 7 days a week, live on Spoon 107.5 FM, Fabric 101.1 FM, Super 95.5, Super TV Channel 10, on Facebook, Spoon TV Live, Fabric TV Live, on YouTube, Spoon Talk Live, and several other mediums across the world. On the online radio, www.spoonfmradio.com. Thanks a million for always following the show. The invitation is yours to join this station tomorrow, same time, for another great edition of the program Spoon Talk. So we'll talk to you. My name is Nelson Colette. James Gooden Floma has been here from the back end, making sure that things works out, all right, and from the different streaming platforms. Have for yourselves a good night. Bye-bye. James?
Yeah.
Good night.